Hello, everybody. Hey, Sinistella. Hey, Kevin. I see a complaint in chat. I was here, but first was disabled. Seems like someone doesn't know how to refresh the page and beat Sinistella. No, anyway, happy Friday. We're going to be working on customer stuff because I had a poll in Discord, and that's what everybody voted on. Yeah, well, just barely. I'm actually kind of surprised that people voted for miscellaneous or cleanup work and that was second. I thought no one would vote for this. But yeah, the other ones are adding sounds, adding music, adding rare loot. These are all things that they all need to happen eventually. So we're just gonna work on customer stuff. Hey, M2, hey Smack. Become available, it'll refresh itself. Ah, it's just a race. All right. Well, the first thing we've got to start with, and this is going to be the case for a lot of these things where it's like there's not a concrete plan, is to go find that concrete plan. And I mentioned it somewhere in GitHub, this one, I think. And I think that's the only place. Yeah, that might be the only place. Although this might also have to do with it. I have some comment here. I might have a document about it too. I got to look into this. All right, well, anyway, that's task number one. Compile all of the tasks I need to do for customer work. And I guess it's going to come from here and here. Hey, Kit. Thanks for the resub. Happy 47 months. Can I share this story or no? Also, just saved it. You're a liar, too. Okay. Anyway, I've been trying to call Kit for the last like month. And I don't know how many times I called, like 5 times. And he just ignored my call every single time because he hadn't saved my number. And we talked on the phone a bunch of times. He's like, yeah, I just saw some, foreign area code. And I'm like, nope, not going to answer. Oh, well. Anyway, we did end up catching up and it was nice. So it cracks me up. I was going to send a message, something like, hey, if I sent you $15,000 to your Venmo, what would you do with it? Then I would have gotten blocked. Your perfect alibi. Anyway, yeah, working on customer stuff. What is this? Now they have a new map in place. It'd be worth adding a new portal to the west side of the map behind the bridge like this. Seen separating customers from the main portal. Yeah, okay, so one of these is making them enter and leave through the right portal. Let's go file a new issue. What do we even say for this? Make customers, I'll just say give customers personality. Okay, so one is spawn customers off the left side of the map. By the way, how's everyone doing this morning? I know I jumped like right into work, but I am actually curious. All right, so I think we're gonna close this in favor of this. And I'm gonna say town, is customers a thing? Yeah, it is. Town customers assigned to myself. Milestone checkpoint 4. Projects, the yellow seller. And then there should be a way to choose the iteration. There's more to this task than just what I have here. In progress and iteration current. Cool. Woke up early because the cats were out of kibble and standing on me. It hurts. Oh man. Yeah. I have like the cutest picture of Abby from the other day. She was just sitting peacefully on my lap. Just I was playing a game the other night, which is why I have a different keyboard there. She's such a good cat though. Well rested, well breakfast, feeling nice. How are the tacos? How'd they turn out? I'm gonna close this in favor of 371. Going to close this in favor of 371. There is one tiny issue, which is that thing about gray borders or something. How old is she? I think she's probably about 2. Also, hi, Oakleus. Yeah, she's probably around 2. That's my guess. This is not the issue I was thinking of. Where's the issue? Not for expanding the battle view. Just gonna limit the size of that. Create settings page. Huh. Maybe. No, I definitely put this somewhere. Background, maybe? Ah, stop showing blank space for the map. Yep, I already have this written down there. Yeah, nice. Amazing. Easily one of the best tacos we've made in a while. Nice. Yeah. Hey, Caleb. Just another purple guy tuning in. Well, I'm not going to end the stream now, even though I'm seeing your name and I'm getting the urge to just cancel the stream and leave. But I'm going to hang in there. That way you get to watch for once. Yeah, I'm going to write that at 274, we got to handle this. We'll handle the issue with the window size in 274. Okay, then there are all of these things. What even is this? After some observation of how customers behave while the item is placed, I think we should change behavior for how they switch in to buy item, because it looks weird when the item is placed and all customers from the other side of the town just rush in for that item. I think they should keep wandering until they walk in range of some shop, and if that shop has some items, customers should decide if they want to walk into that shop. Maybe the shops have separate circle collider. Marking for checkpoint number 3. Okay, I think I'm going to end up closing this in favor of the new one too. Yeah. Which kind of feels a little bit bad. Hey, Donard, this is a corn keyboard. It's got 36 keys. It is very dependent on layers. So for example, if you just type some random things, you're going to be typing letters typically, and then you end up in a different layer to type things like numbers or to type symbols. So each key needs to do double or triple duty. It's just the corn on the cob. You just press the kernels in, maybe pop a few every once in a while. You can eat the keyboard when you're done. Hey, Wayne, welcome back. Just got my old domain correctly appointed to the new one. Yeah. I'm glad you did that, and I'm glad you accepted the suggestions on Discord, because it really has gotten a lot easier than even, well, I don't know about 5 years ago, but definitely than 10 years ago. And something like Cloudflare, being able to just kind of manage things, point tunnels and stuff, it's really nice. Hey, Majestic Coding, welcome into the stream. I hope you had a good rest of your stream the other day. I'm curious, by the way, is CloudSense supposed to be a monetized product or like a portfolio product or just for fun? Do we need some kind of customer controller? Maybe we can reserve the target item display. Yeah, so if we're gonna have this is gonna be somewhat problematic, I guess. If there's gonna be customer orchestration, I guess, then we need some central node to do that. I don't think it's gonna be necessary. Right now, the problem is that customers just all run toward an item at once. But in the future, if we make them walk a little bit slower and kind of only go after items they can see, then if 2 customers go for the same item, it'll be okay because it'll happen every once in a while, and just one of the customers will get it. And maybe there's some special state that they'll transition out of where it's like, oh, well, I still want to buy a different item. If I just grant a bunch of things in the game and, oh man, I gotta make this change. Right now you have to beat the boss in order to unlock the other shops. Anyway, okay, so imagine you got this. We got a bunch of items, we got a bunch of workers, but we don't have a bunch of customers. So they're going to go stock these shops. And yeah, you can see a bunch of customers will just run toward this immediately and start buying everything. That's not going to happen, or at least not as much. But I don't want to make a sort of customer orchestrator yet. Yeah. I want to move my main domain over to Cloudflare. Yeah. I was reading about that you had said, and I think that's a valid concern, but I'm glad it didn't end up happening. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna copy everything from here, and this is closed with comment. Good. And then over in this one, we say we're closing this in favor of 371. Is that what I said over here too? Yes. Closing this in favor of 371. I would normally keep the older bug, but I want to have a, well, I want to have a single comment for the new one. I want to have everything in a single comment without overwriting your first comment. Also, I'm the only one who's probably going to be kind of tracking this, because we're going to hopefully get done with this by the end of next week. And this will not hopefully take a million work days of doing this stuff. All right, so we put this over here. Let's also load this up in Ghost Text. By the way, for anyone who hasn't seen this, this is an amazing extension. You can right click any edit in your browser, click Activate Ghost Text, and then start typing it over here. So now if I were to expand this and I start typing something like, this is a test over in VS Code, it's actually typing it over in the browser too. So the reason this is nice is, you know, this isn't a bad edit or anything, but it doesn't have all the shortcuts that your text editor has. And you could just open a preview to the side over here and see what you're going to make changes to, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe a cooldown for looking for items, so one customer doesn't instantly buy everything. I think we should write this down. Consider whether we need a customer orchestrator so that two customers don't go for the same item. At its simplest, if a customer knows they're going to beeline it for an item, maybe we could mark the item as being reserved. Yeah. Figuring off of that will be an exciting journey. That might be a little bit harder to do. I don't think many email solutions are free and reliable. It's usually the services that they want your data somehow. Monetize for how much people ping the LLM. Oh, I did not realize there was an LLM involved in that. More thing about how to monetize. Yeah. Yeah, I think exploring this space and just kind of figuring out how to establish yourself is a good idea. I have only done some like, well, sort of half panned out projects on my own. It's been mostly corporate work. Nice to see you for a sec. Gotta hop on a call. No, don't worry about it. See you, Kit, and thanks for the sub. What's the extension again? It's called Ghost Text, and there's a link to it in this VS Code video that I recorded. Oh, you know what? I just realized I don't have YouTube chat showing. Not that anyone typed anything. I think the scary thing about relying on one service for everything, like a lot of people have, let's say, Apple as everything, their cloud, their whatever contacts, or Google ecosystem, any of that, is that if you lose your account, there's rarely something you can do about it. And yeah, I think that's spooky. I think also just having any of these things change and then having some paper cuts or needing to pay money, I think that can be tough too, but that's at least not debilitating. That's just a service changing. All right, walk slower. So yeah, make customers, workers, and adventurers walk slower. I think I have it written somewhere that I wanted to vary the speeds of adventurers based on their classes. I don't know where I wrote that. Movement speed? No, I think I just wrote it in here. Movement speed. Yeah, differentiate adventurers in the overworld. Could be interesting if they have different movement speeds. In which case we just show it as a stat. I like the idea. I think in practice it might be kind of annoying, but maybe we don't want to differ it too much. But yeah, I think we're going to do this. So differentiate adventurers based on their classes. Maybe the rogue moves faster than the golem. Why did I type weirdly? Oh, because I'm doing this over here. This variance probably shouldn't be too crazy. Yeah. One customer emptying all the displays in a shop in 1 second. I don't think that's going to be possible. Let me just write down some like existing issues. Customers. I guess there's nothing coordinating customers. So they may all race for an item when it's in your shop. And a customer may buy everything from a shop. Most platforms, I should say. Yeah, and I think this is the trade-off, right? It's how much do you want to invest in something and how much do you want to benefit from what they've already done. So for example, Gmail has pretty much all the features I would want out of emailing, and it's a reputable email service. And it's like, I know there are other ones. I think it's easier to find an email client or an email provider. But still, it's like, well, it does everything for me. So I don't need to go searching for something else. And I can trust that they're going to maintain it and keep it good. You can make your own streaming platform that I could dual stream to. So Amazon has IVS, which is essentially Twitch as a service. But the costs of this are not, they're basically, it doesn't make sense unless you're somehow making money off of your product or service otherwise. So if you look at their pricing, they've got some examples here. But yeah, per hour of just standard channel content is like $2. They have some examples somewhere. Where's their example? Yeah, here. So a 2-hour low latency stream, they say the total price of that would be $18 with their examples that they have. I mean, this is given a certain number of viewers and everything, but still it's like most people want to be paid for streaming. They don't want to be shelling out money for streaming. But yeah, streaming is very bandwidth intensive. If you need to do any transcoding, then you need CPU or GPU time for that. Hey, Batman. Hey, guest. Owncast? I've never heard of this. They don't show view counts, I guess? Huh. I wonder how popular, that's the reason I wanted to know that. I just wonder how popular the platform actually is. Like in tech right now, there are 2 streams. Okay. And then we also need to show, oh man, I keep typing in here. Show movement speed in the adventurer's pane. All right, so they should all walk slower. Done with that. Have slightly randomized speeds. Yeah, I think that's fine. Customers can have slightly randomized speeds. I think some questions I have. Should customers be saved? I.e., should you see like Bob the Dragon Slayer? It's kind of a weird name for Dragon Slayer. Bob the Dragon Slayer show up a bunch, like repeatedly? Or do they just get randomized every time they're created? And then I guess if they persist, should you be able to upgrade them somehow? These are not questions for checkpoint 4, probably. All right, so customers should have personality, idling for a bit, looking at flowers, maybe jogging for a bit when they get excited about an item. Yeah, we got to plan a little bit more about what this means. Simulated lives and jobs. Imagine we did that just for no real reason, just to say like, well, it was inhumane otherwise. Some behavior on how to find an item, perhaps something like specific, category, any item, or window shop. We need to come up with the full state machine ahead of time, I think. What is the full customer state machine? How do they go from spawning to wandering to buying to leaving? Hey, Goose. So that's there. Customers should have some logic for leaving the town. Maybe the item they wanted was taken, or they spent a lot, or they just hung out for too long. So RE leaving. Town should have some logic for spawning new code. Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of this stuff. Maybe customers should have names and thus persistent appearances. I already kind of have that written down. And consider whether we need an orchestrator. Yeah. Hey Puppet, how's the week going? It's going pretty well. I think it was a little bit hard to adjust back to streaming again. Last week my parents were visiting and it's not like it was a bad time or anything. It's just different. And I think I was a little bit tired out when it came time to stream again. But I think Wednesday went pretty well. I also think we streamed for the normal amount of time on Wednesday, right? Yeah, a little over 6 hours. So I'm hoping today is pretty much the same way. And today is the classic, like, we have a problem, we're going to do some game design, and then we're going to do some coding, and hopefully we'll have fixed the problem in a couple days. And the problem is about customer behavior. And there are a bunch of questions about this, and I should probably make a document and figure some of this stuff out. Yeah, I'm going to just save this for now. Where'd the issue go? Here. I'm going to save this for now, and I'm going to go make a new document. Give me a sec. What was the last document we made? Skill trees? I'm doing this off screen so I can find out where I'm putting these files. I have a lot of notes and documents, and I don't want to accidentally show things I shouldn't be showing. All right, this is fine because this is untitled document. So we're going to say revamping customers. Background for issue, what is this, 371? I want to figure out how customers should work. Did you start working on your own game? Nice. Also, hey, Sir Puffin. Is work slightly better today or no? All right, these are all the questions we had. So we're going to copy this into here and then answer all the questions. Questions, scratch. Did not type out correctly. And then paste from Markdown. All right, I think this is the most important thing. Although maybe we just tackle any of these things. Literally typing this. What's that? Thank you. I'm hoping we can come up with good solutions for this stuff. Actually, I kind of mentioned this, but for those who don't know, a long time ago, I was working on Botland on stream, and I spent like 5 years doing this. And every once in a while, we'd come across some game design problem, and it would take me like a week to figure out. And now I think we've mostly, maybe it's because they're more targeted problems, but we've mostly just been making a document, coming up with questions, following the same process you're about to see right now. And within a couple hours, usually, I've got something that I'm like, okay, this sounds good. And I think part of it is knowing that we're going to be iterating on this stuff. That's the whole reason why we're working toward checkpoint number 4 right now. It's not work toward launch and just trust that this stuff is good. It's work toward the next point that we get customer feedback. Well, player feedback, not customers yet. But I think that's really important. All right, so should customers be saved? Or I guess let's just say persistent. Yeah, so persistent customers. I think this just adds personality to the game. So it feels like it would be a win to do. Also, well, I guess pros. I think it adds personality to the game. And it could open up some design space for like customizing or upgrading customers. Cons, we would probably want a unique sprite for each customer, although this isn't necessary. And we have more of a system to design, which is not really a con. How do you architect it so you don't refactor half the code base every time you change something in the design? I think there are two parts of this. One is writing code in the first place based on what you think might be reasonable to have happen. And two is just having the skill of figuring out how do we make a minimal change to this. And a lot of times, I'll give you an example. So at one point, we had adventure abilities in the game. And these are things like quicker strike and fireball and whatever else, right? So just obvious stuff. And then we added player abilities. And player abilities were things like make your workers move faster. Well, we already had an ability system, so what's the best way to add player abilities? And it's like, well, why don't we piggyback off the existing ability system? So that was a sort of minimal impact to an existing system. And now when we pass around abilities for the player, we do it inside of an abilities component, which is exactly what adventurers use. So it ended up being pretty smooth. For customers, I mean, we already have customers in the game, and it's not like we're going to have to reconcile this with a lot of existing code because we're just extending the existing system. I think having a few archetypes would cover the same without the need to actually persist them. Well, this is why I want to plan this a little bit, because it would be kind of cool. Like, yeah, what if you saw like Bob the Dragon Slayer, and at the beginning of the game, maybe their title is like Bob the uh, novice or something like that, maybe. And you get to see them level up and be able to spend more. Like this could be kind of neat, especially because you're not equipping your own adventurers. So that the thought that you're equipping other adventurers, I think, is really, really cool. The lizard killer, yeah. The bane of the boars. They slowly upgraded Dragon Slayer. Hey, Puka. Yeah, I like this idea. Would you be able to help them on that path? And option number one is you can directly upgrade them somehow. Maybe you can gift them an item. Or option number two could be their progress could also be gated by killing bosses. So like Bob the novice goes to Bob the, I don't know, apprentice. The problem with any sort of gifting idea is that if something moves too fast, it's going to be really hard for you to gift it to them by just dragging an item onto them. So, for example, if I click grant items and I try to drag a cane onto like that character, I might accidentally hit the other one. So there'd need to be a UI that looks something like this, where you're like, oh, I've got 7 customers, and I click Bob the Dragon Slayer, and then I gift them an item. That, oh yeah, that should have happened. Yes. Okay, I was gonna say that's a bug, but I actually am selling items right now. So I kind of don't like this. This either requires new UI or being able to drag an item directly onto a customer, a specific customer. Plus, they're just buying items anyway, right? What if that's what levels them up? It's kind of a cool idea. It might be confusing though. Depending, well, okay, so yeah, what if customers had experience bars and they level up as they buy stuff? But I guess what's the point of leveling up at all? Just a sense of progression for another part of your town. We're not going to change their appearance at all. But I guess it would be kind of cool knowing that higher level customers have more money. Maybe there's a management aspect to this. Management aspect to this. Like you can advertise your town and that gets customers to come in. But you don't want a bunch of level 1 customers because they can't afford much. So you, I don't know. Yeah, adventurers don't have experience with customers code, but maybe customers could also sort of be equipping the items. Although if it's not going to change their appearance, I guess it's functionally hidden from you. Management aspect of this, you can advertise your town. Yeah, I like the idea of sort of having to manage customers a little bit, but how would you do it? Because maybe, I guess you'd always want the floodgates to be open. So you want as many customers as possible. So like option number one would be there's a cost to getting a customer to come to your town. Actually, that's not a bad idea. And option number two is, I guess, yeah, I'll write it like this. What's stopping you from just getting as many customers as possible? There's a cost. There's a limit on the maximum number. I can't really think of anything else. There's some other downside. Yeah, like maybe customers could get in fights with one another. I don't want to do something like that though. So I think these are the only two realistic options. Is it worthwhile for you to even be able to control this? And I think it adds another management aspect, which is probably welcome at this point. And it lets you control how your town is growing. I kind of like this idea. Yeah. Hey, Cran. Can you make more customers a paid for option or something the game has, and you have an upgrade system to increase the amount of customers and the time they're there within the town? Yes, you can. And so the only system for that right now in the game is there's the skill tree, which is like your player-wide skill tree. So for example, this says grants a boost to the speed of your character. So if you take a look at the skeletons right now, if I click this button, they just keep going faster and faster until I get 5 points in this. And I can slow them down again too. Although I guess that also deletes all the extra ones. We could add something like this, like, I don't know, advertisement. Your town is now 20% more popular with customers or something like that. Alternatively, we could make a separate system entirely for modifying customers. Like we have an adventurers and a player skills. There could be a customer section. I'm not sure if it's worthwhile to do that. And I guess what we could say is that like the bridge could be the means by which you control the customers, and it could be by buildings. And then if we do have the ability to influence them, how do you go about doing that? And it'd be either buildings, player-wide, skill tree, like new buildings, maybe I write it this way. Buildings, new buildings, or maybe the bridge could be the point, the thing that you modify. It's a little weird though. In GitHub's own study, with the use of Copilot, it caused code churn to go up. What I'd love to know is if that's good or bad. Actually, I think Microsoft just announced that there are going to be Copilot agents you can now get, which is a little strange. So for those who didn't know this, I've been doing some interviews on stream, and one of the interviews I did was with a product lead at GitHub Copilot. She's a personal friend, and she was on the channel. And one of the things she mentioned was that the name Copilot was actually very intentional. They did not want this to be, hey, it's taking over your job or something. It was like it's going alongside you. And Microsoft just announced this agents, or well, maybe they announced it before, but they announced this agents thing where it's like, oh, hey, your sales team generating leads, like maybe an AI could do that for you. And I thought if it's doing it for you, it's no longer really a co-pilot, it's just a pilot. I wonder if that's gonna change things a bit. Maybe player achievements would raise the reputation of the town. Well, the only achievements we really have outside of like the kind of Steam achievement sort of thing is beating bosses, or I guess just normal progression you would do. So for example, you get, okay, I already have all the locations, but you get the locations over here and you're working your way through the game. When you beat one of these things, this is where the bosses are, like the canyon, eventually maybe the crypt, eventually somewhere else. That's sort of the way we can really decide that you've progressed through the game. And that's already a gate for a lot of other things. I mean, make it a global thing. So it's, as you just said, a completely separate thing under something like town management. Yeah, that is possible. I do want to be careful about adding new systems because I don't want there to be, I feel like every new system is complexity and there needs to be a big enough payoff to justify that complexity. And yeah, it might be that it's justified, but I want to still kind of figure out what we're doing with this and what knobs you would even be able to control. And I guess the big variables about customers are how many of them, how much purchasing power they have, how many different items they like/want, and how long they stay in town. Or maybe how they like recharge their money. And for all of these, you want these to all be maxed out, right? You want a ton of customers. They can all buy everything. They want every item. They stay in town forever. So is it interesting if I had a customer's skill tree and in there you could say like, okay, give me 2 more customers. Okay, now increase their purchasing power. And I guess it would kind of just be a skill tree. I guess the simplest thing is to just make another skill tree for this. But at that point, it could just be the player-wide skill tree. There could be skills like add 1 customer, increase their purchasing power. I'm just not sure if it's interesting. Like, there are going to be a whole lot of random things in your player-wide skill tree. And the other way of manifesting this is with buildings. I don't know what you would say is you're building for customers. Maybe it's like a town hall or something. Yeah, maybe there's a town hall. And that's where you can buy customer upgrades. Had a product called Copilot, but that was a very different product. At least I'm guessing it's not some like LLM based thing. What is this? Remote tech support service lets one person control another computer remotely. Yeah. I was like remote desktop software. I think games like this are made interesting by having what you do impact customer happiness, which then affects the prices they're willing to pay. Being able to just put points into customers feels counter to that model. Yeah, but this is a pretty laid back, casual game. So I think if you could make the wrong decisions with customers, it would probably feel bad. And I know that what you suggested doesn't necessarily need there to be a wrong decision. But the things you would do with customers are all just positive changes, primarily combat based or management with quests. As for example, for people that don't want to do the combat of the system, can they still play the game and progress? I'll give you a quick demo, Cran. Dark, thank you for the resub. Welcome back. Yeah, so the way the game works, let me actually restart the whole thing. And for anyone who hasn't seen this, it's probably worth paying attention because if we're going to talk about design stuff, I think it's worthwhile to know the game. So you would start the game and you would actually see a cutscene explaining how you died and became a skeleton. So you are actually this character, although you don't ever directly control it. And you start by building up your town and hiring adventurers. So for example, we already have the rogue hired over here, but you would have had to do that yourself. And then you send them into battle. Like I said, very casual, laid back game. So battles are automated. We see our rogue fighting this bat right now. I'm not touching the keyboard. I don't need to control this directly. They are governed by skills that they have and cooldowns that they have, and they just use them whenever they can. So this character is eventually going to win this battle, and out of the portal pops some potions, which we can then go sell at our alchemist shop. When we put the potion in the shop, and again, I'm not controlling that, customers can appear in town and then start buying those items. So this customer goes over and buys this for 3 gold. So the idea of having to do combat is built into the game. There's no avoiding combat, and you can eventually go to different places. So for example, we augment this portal and now we can go to the dungeon. And when I send the rogue back into the portal, it's going to just automatically fight in the next battle. So battles aren't really like a skill check. It's just it's like a, have you upgraded your party and have you picked the right composition? Hey yo. So with customers, it's kind of following that same idea of, okay, well, you know you can upgrade things in town. You know there are skill points for adventurers and for your own player. There could be some way of modifying customers that way too. It could also be that the way you're doing this is you get sort of, you get like cosmetic buildings. Well, they're not even necessarily buildings. E.g., you plant some flowers and customers are more likely to visit your town, or you pave the roads and customers move faster, or you build a, I don't even know what you do to give them more money. You build an accountant and they have more money to spend. And I don't know. I think I like the idea of there just being a town hall. But then when do you get that town hall? Someone suggested coffee shops. Yeah. Yeah, in coffee shop, cosmetics, like flowers or fountains. So I like the idea of having many more buildings, but some wouldn't really make sense for spending power. It could be that there's just a town hall and you upgrade everything from there. I don't know. Yeah. More like town mall, except for they'd be giving the adventurers the money, I guess. Calcium shop. Gotta go buy some bones. There's a specific area that takes X amount of time to get. Then those resources or items build over time and can be spent on the town upgrade specific functionality. Yeah, so one of the systems I did not show here is the quest system. If I were to put this green potion in this shop, I am now offered a quest because it knows I can get green potions. So I click accept, this chest pops open, and now any green potions will be put in this treasure chest instead of being sold. So this is another way we could have a progression point in the game. Well, all the potions just disappeared, but if I drag one of these over to here, now I'm at 1 out of 3. Unfortunately, there are no more green potions, so let's grab more items. There we go. 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 3. And now we complete the quest, we get a skill point. So what we could do is we could have a quest for like, drag 10 swords here. And when you complete it, you unlock the fountain, and the fountain increases the popularity of your town or something. I think it's a little bit harder to justify. And I do want there to be a money sink. This would add a money sink. It would make your town look different / bigger / better. And it would let you affect customer behavior. Yeah, I like this idea. The only thing I don't totally know is how you would change their spending power. Maybe that's just when maybe you're just attracting better customers. Maybe we frame it as you're attracting better customers. So sort of overall systems. Let's say the experience system. Customers level up as they buy stuff and naturally get faster, earn more money, want more items, etc. The building system is you build stuff to influence customer stats. That's some combo of the above. Yeah, because functionally what's going to happen is you're going to start a game. Let's just load from wherever no, this is already a completed game. Okay, let's restart this then. Yeah, functionally you're going to start the game and you're going to start getting potions. So if we just click this and win. So we got 3 potions. All we really care about is, can we sell these 3 potions now? And if you need to wait for a customer to wander all the way over here, they're going to move slower. If you have to wait for them to wander all the way over there, it's going to feel like, oh man, this is tedious. This is really slow. And you won't even get to the point where you care about these things. Oh, also rare customers. I didn't talk about that today. I guess that was just the idea of wanting a specific item. Yeah, I think I like the building system. I guess the other thing is like just automatic progression. You just beat bosses and better customers will start showing up. Yeah. The way I see this though is you have more choices of what to spend your money on. You get to watch the town grow based on the level of buildings within town. So you have a level 1 town hall, which is the lowest level of customers. Yeah, that is one way to do it, but I feel like we should have a customer specific building or set of buildings. And I guess that's the last question I probably have for this, which is, do you just have one building for all customer upgrades, town hall, or do you build many different buildings? Yeah, I think the idea of basing it just on, man, all right. I guess that's another question that I still have, which is, do you have a choice of upgrades Or is there just one? So yeah, it could be something like Town Hall level 1 is 2 customers, maybe like 50 gold on average, wants a small amount of items. Town Hall level 2 could be something like 5 customers, 250 gold on average, wants a medium amount of items. Or are you upgrading individual things like, man, I really need more customers to be in town? So yeah, I'm not totally sure yet. Rather than leveling the customers up, just let your town artificially grant powers, more money, make all of them faster. Yeah, but the question is, how is the town granting those powers? Is it based on you building stuff? Is it based on just you beat bosses and it happens? I guess a quest system, which is you accumulate items to upgrade customers. Hey, Z-Wubs. Did the town hall idea. If we make it, we could use that for the money cap too. Well, okay, wait. There was one last thing I kind of wanted to comment on here, which is we have this. We have a bunch of sprites that we're just not using. Do we have any, like, I guess we have some flowers, but we don't have like a proper fountain, do we? No. But I thought another nice thing about this is it would be a time to use all the sprites we haven't used. So for example, there could be like you build a farm. It's not a functional farm, but it's like, okay, now you have a farm. We've used all of these sprites and maybe some of these sprites. And then you build a boat house or something like that. Which I don't think you'd want a boat or a TV in this style of game, but yeah. And we don't actually have a ton of sprites there. I guess there are more. Hang on a sec. Let me pull this up. Pictures, Super Retro World. Actually, there really aren't that many that we haven't used. This one had, why is this not? This one has some tents. This just some basic structures too. What is this? Oh, this is the, I don't even know what you call this one. Tree farming pack. Yeah, there's a well. Yeah, I think it's probably better to have just a town hall. I think that makes sense. Time to use the new 170 items. It could display new buildings that are just cosmetic, and that shows the town is growing. That's a pretty good idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Pooh. And thank you very much. Good to see you here. I know we've been chatting in Redbeard's stream a lot. But yeah, I'm guessing if you can watch Redbeard, it means there must be either late or just a bad time now that it's the normal time for me. My time zone is Pacific time, which is actually Redbeard's time as well, but it's, yeah, 9:30 a.m. Hey, Hap. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Town Hall, just consolidate some ideas. It would be 1 point to upgrade stuff, or one sort of point of contact. How do we write that? One, I guess, location to centralize customer upgrades. As you get these upgrades, we could still show cosmetic changes to the town, e.g. a bunch of flowers being planted or a well being put in. I do like that. Yeah, pulling up in my medieval yacht. That'd be pretty good. Get your medieval TV. All right, so then this. Do you have a choice of upgrades or is there just one? Well, let's see. If there was a choice, then it would suggest that different players would make different choices at points in the game. Well, actually, it doesn't even necessarily suggest that, right? I guess one of the nice things about a skill tree like this is that you can see what you can eventually unlock, but you can't actually unlock. Whoa, that shouldn't have happened. Oh my God, this doesn't get disabled. Oh, that is not good. Okay, that's a bug. Wow. I didn't know that existed. But yeah, we got to write that down somewhere. It's not like super, super important, but I should probably write it at the top of the list. Bug, you can left click a skill icon in a row that you haven't unlocked and still put points into it. I only directly emit the signal to try putting points in without checking the prereqs. Yeah. In my case, I'm 2 hours ahead of you in red. 3 when daylight ends. Oh, that's not bad. Are you on a night shift though? Also, hey, Thels with Hat. You know, I'm pretty surprised, Thels, that you did not actually comment at all on the stream title on Wednesday. I don't know if it took all you had or you just forgot. I saw it was a hex code. Yeah. Okay. You just start sweating and your face is turning red. And you're like, I gotta say something. I gotta say something. I gotta say something. Tend to go to bed a bit later than usual. Wow. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Huh. Disappointment. Well, he's just hyping it up for days and days and days. And ended up being just a normal law-abiding citizen. It could just be that you can see which changes can be made. To be honest, I like the idea of a skill tree, but that you're spending money on. So I guess it's more like an unlock tree. Kind of like the idea of a skill tree that you spend money on. But then how do you respec? You don't respec. You wouldn't be able to respec because you could just earn more money and unlock everything. Yeah, I like this idea. I think this is pretty cool. Customer speed will be the most wanted, so make sure it's harder to get. It might be the most wanted, but I mean, imagine if you just had 30 more customers that moved slowly. That might actually be better. But I think anything, whether it's more or less wanted, is just a balance concern. So we would need to balance based on that. Yeah, I like this idea of skill trees that unlock as you spend money on it. And then it would naturally be limited by how many bosses you've beaten. So we can hide the good skills behind behind the new money limit. Yeah, I like that idea. I like this a lot. We already have trees in the game, so I think knowing how you unlock these things is not going to be too crazy. We just need to make it so that you're spending money instead of skill points. Also, it would mean we need more icons. That's the one downside. Hey, Rami. Thanks for the stretching advice. Rami, I did book the next mentoring session, by the way. Oh, not a. Oh, wait. No, I already saw that yet. Mentoring schedule. So, yeah, you are booked for December 2nd now. And the next mentoring is a week from. No, not a week from today. It's 5 days from now. Yeah, October 30th. I didn't do it. I didn't say I did it. I just said thanks for the advice. Something has to be expensive enough to force you to increase the money cap. I don't think something needs to be expensive enough. I mean, the game just naturally steers you toward doing the next thing. Like if you just kind of ended at the canyon, you wouldn't have played any more of the game, right? Yeah. Yeah, I like this. I like this. So we're gonna make a skill tree for the town hall. So then I guess the remaining questions. So here are the sort of conclusions so far. You will build a town hall to upgrade customers. There will be a skill tree that costs money and doesn't allow respecializing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And maybe Yeah, let's just leave it at that for now. Oh yeah, and then the as you unlock things, maybe we add some cosmetic touches to the town, e.g. adding flowers or a fountain. You dropped your hat. All right. So the last question I think I have about this is what does it mean when you don't have a town hall yet? I guess you just get some basic amount of customers with the basic amount of money, whatever that is. Yeah, maybe like two customers, they only want potions. I guess you got to be careful about them only wanting a certain kind of item because you don't want to have something be unlocked twice. So for example, in order to sell weapons, you need the you need the blacksmith. You wouldn't also want to make it so that customers need to want weapons. That'd be paying twice for the same thing. It's beautiful. She's already gone. Now to the right. Oh no, I stretched my neck. Oh man. I was tricked. Hey Barracuda. Sorry for being 5 minutes late to responding. Hello. Can you upgrade the blacksmith? Only in terms of number of item displays they have. So when you do this, you can build the blacksmith, and then they only have one item display at first. The way you upgrade them is with a quest, though. You need to find, I think, bows. Is it a bow? Yeah. And then you get a quest to find more bows, and then when you've gotten 5 over there, it'll upgrade the shop. Customers start from family? What do you mean, hamster? Customers only go for each item category with 10% chance they can be upgraded, so they're more likely to want those. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I think it should be framed if we were to frame it at all. Like that. So what you can upgrade. Number of customers, or like max number of customers in town. Their movement speed, their buying power, the likelihood that they want an item in the first place. Make sure not to unlock entire categories so that you don't need to pay twice just to sell weapons. Get a new baby customer. That is definitely not going to be in the game. Yeah, I think until you have the town hall, you just have some basic stuff. Until you get the town hall, you just have some default stats for customers, e.g., 2 max customers, move speed of 30, etc. Maybe the time they hang around in town. Yeah, how likely they are to stay in town. I still need to think about how this is going to work because, like I said at the beginning of the game, you still need to sell stuff, and that is such a big question of how is that going to work. How will the beginning of the game work if you don't have a town hall but still need to sell stuff? I feel like your adventurers won't have anything to do. Excuse me. Craft certain items only at blacksmiths of certain level. Yeah, but in Witcher 3, the weapons and items and everything, they were functional. Like well, I only played it for half an hour, but I'm assuming that there was, a sword that did 5 damage and a sword that did 50 damage. And swords probably work differently from how bow and arrow did. Hey, Matt. Make a little town shack. Actually, houses would be a way of doing this too. I should probably write that down. Maybe this is how we surface houses in the game. Could add some as you build out the town hall. Maybe customers live in the houses. Although that doesn't make any sense because they need to somehow get money. And if they bought a bunch of stuff and then went into their house and came back with money, you'd be like, what, are they earning money online? Are they selling bot coin? The town shack, 40 points. 40 points to Gryffindor. Animal Crossing style shop, Nook's Cranny. That's kind of how we already have the shops in town now, right? Like if I'm recalling Animal Crossing correctly, there were just some item displays and you can go buy stuff. I guess it's kind of the same here. Having the customers hang around the shop where they bought the item for a while. Well, so that might not be a bad idea, but I guess it's like if all customers are always doing that, then this concept of movement speed almost doesn't even matter. But this stuff has to matter at the beginning of the game. There's got to be a way that you can actually sell your potions. And what I'm thinking is, first of all, it'd be really sucky if a customer spawned over here and you had to watch them walk at 30 pixels per second and eventually go through here, all the way over to here, buy an item, eventually be like, okay, I'm out of money, see ya, and leave the town again. We can't have that happen. That would be really frustrating. And a way that you could potentially speed this up is maybe you can drag items onto customers. So you see a customer way over here that wants an item and you just put the item onto them and they buy it. And maybe that's how the game works at first. That is one way we could do this. It's just, I don't know if it's fun. Could make it so that you could drag items onto customers to make them buy. But then we really need to explain that. They might get stuck in the shop forever if you got a steady stream of items. That we're going to do away with. They'll eventually sort of run out of money or they'll just get bored of buying the same kinds of items. Maybe we want to move the alchemist to the armor smith position. That's a good idea. And maybe we change where customers wander. So the alchemist starts here. Yeah, move the alchemist to where the armor smith is so that customers don't have to walk as far. Can I post a GitHub link to a humble developer library I'm releasing? Yeah, sure. Are all the mentee slots full? Currently, yes, but it's about to change. But I haven't totally figured out how I'm gonna find new mentees. So there is a mentoring FAQ here. And yeah, there's a how do I sign up? And I think it just says, yeah, there is no sign up process. Anyway. Free therapy, you say? To shreds, you say? Terrible what happened to your wife. Is this a game where you're intending to release and sell later in the future? Yeah. Yeah, I've got a little FAQ about this stuff here. You don't necessarily have to read it, but typically when someone asks a question that's on it, they want to know more things that are on it too. But yeah, where, when is it launching? Can I play it before then? How much will it cost, etc. I better have this here. Yeah, the last build is uploaded on this. I don't recommend trying the game right now. The next build should launch in November at some point and will change quite a lot. Yeah. The more you sell it, the lower the price it is. While that could happen, I think it's a little clearer if the items stay the same price and maybe just the customers get bored of that item. So it's just a different way of framing the same general idea. Like if you have 100 potions, I still want them all to sell for, let's say, 3 gold each. So you know you're going to get 300 gold from them, but maybe customers get tired of that item after buying 5 or something. So now it's like, well, they're less likely to buy it. So you still know how much money you're going to get. It's just you might not get it immediately. Checkpoint 4 is going to change quite a lot. In fact, I've been keeping track of all of it so that I can write patch notes eventually. And yeah, we changed how the warehouse works. We added the vault, that's pretty minor. We added the enchanter, that's pretty major. We added a title screen. We changed around the maps. We added skill trees, like proper skill trees. We added bosses, changed progression, added some UI stuff. And we're about to change how customers work, and we're gonna, yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff. In fact, I should write that over here. Right in the design document, what changed for checkpoint 4. Really need to get save and load fixed, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go back to this for a sec. So I want to try to answer this. How will the beginning of the game work if you don't have a town hall but still need to sell stuff? So I don't think that having customers be the rate limiting step is a good idea because of how slowly they'll move and how little spending power they'll have. Although actually we could say that their spending power is, let's say, 100 gold, and you don't really need that much money at first, and then 100 gold stops mattering as much to you, so you do need to upgrade it. That could be done. We could just make their spending power high enough to accommodate the early game. E.g., make it 75G, and you only need, let's say, 300 gold at first. We still need them to buy a bunch of items. We could allow you to manually sell to a customer by dragging an item onto them. This just feels wrong to me. It's something that would be difficult to do when they move quickly. Oh, maybe we frame it as this. You can drag a customer like in Roller Coaster Tycoon. That could be interesting. So instead of you bringing an item to a customer, you drag the customer to your shop. And they're like, well, I'm here. I might as well buy a potion. Thanks, Boo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Getting the canyon is what? 200 gold to level the portal and the 2 adventurers? I don't know exactly, but the balance of that might change. But yeah, it's probably somewhere in the range of 200 gold. Then again, if you do need the town hall by then, it'll cost whatever, maybe an extra 50 gold for the town hall. So I'm not sure, but I do think having the start of the game be pretty cheap is good. And again, one of the big reasons is I want to use human numbers for everything. So if you get, 1 gold per potion, that actually might be a good idea. Maybe we should even make that change pretty soon. That way you don't stay in the early game for too long. I'm gonna write that down for balance. Item values, yeah. I think the cheapest item should start at 1G so that we stay in the human understandable range of numbers for as long as possible. I say this a lot, but it's easy for us to understand amounts like 5 and 50 and even 500. It's really hard for us to understand amounts like 5 billion and just scientific notation of like 1E17. It's really tough. So I don't want the game to get to these numbers because I think it's hard to reason about. And the games that do get to these numbers, they just start going nuts with it. And it's like, it's not unreasonable to find idle games where you do get to like, oh, I'm doing 1 times 10 to the 70th power of damage per hit. It's like, that's just a thing. And you just pay attention to the exponents more than you do the actual numbers. And I just really don't like that. Listing bread for 10,000 gold, yeah. And that's probably roughly where I'd want the numbers to stop eventually, is getting about, 10,000 gold per item sale. Maybe you're selling like a dragon sword or something like that. And maybe at the very end of the game, they can go up to like 1 million even. But yeah, I don't want them being ludicrous numbers. Customers leave if they don't find anything to buy within X minutes. probably be a good idea with the speech bubbles with item category icon. Uh, Probably. And we need some special concession for that at the beginning of the game. This is high fantasy. Yeah, no inflation. What do I want to do? Dragging customers is something we'd have to make obvious. And if we ever do provide controller support, it's not going to be fun to do that. I still don't really like this idea because I think it's annoying to have to drag things in the game. We get a lot of the lower value items. You start accumulating the higher value item while still maintaining small numbers. Wait, I don't think I fully understand this. Create new items equal to X amount of a lower item. I think what you mean is that you're getting a potion that's worth 3 gold, and when that sort of stops becoming meaningful, you get like a large potion that's worth maybe 9 gold. But I'm not totally sure, so I may need some more explanation on that. Maybe make the plot rentable, so money dump. I think the town hall can be another money dump. And I think we might need to add maybe another couple or something after that. But I always want to base it on game need. Call customers to a specific location. Okay, that's a nice way of framing it. But I don't want you... I have to think about this a little more. Arm Cubic, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back. Happy half year. If you get to higher, more expensive items, can we get more rich-looking characters? Did you see what Quickie Joe made? Let me see if I have this. Yeah. Have you seen this graphic? I can't zoom in. Okay, let me open this with GIMP. This is going to be the richest customer. Look familiar? Can you do something like Pikmin where you call customers to a specific location? Yeah, so that is a pretty interesting way of doing this. Maybe we allow you to call customers to a specific shop. The thing is, wouldn't you sort of abuse this later? Maybe you do, and so what? Yeah, it didn't have a hat. You know what you're talking about. And yeah, it's me as a customer. So I'm probably going to show up as a rare customer every once in a while and buy like everything you have. And you'd be like, man, that guy's really cool. It would be actually, if I do that, you know what I should do? I should have like very fantastical titles. Adam the Dragon Slayer, Adam the Benevolent. You're just like, wow, this guy's amazing. His title changes all the time. Do I have that written down as a task? Because if so, I want to add that idea because I really like that idea. I don't think so. Yeah, I should have special titles every time I show up. Adam the Dragon Slayer, Adam the Benevolent, Adam the Incredibly Wealthy. He's humble too. Something like that. Bear in mind, I'm not aware of the details in my first stream, but something like, for example, a red potion's worth 10, a golden potion's worth 10 red potions. Oh, I see. Okay. I think I had sort of understood you at first. I think the issue is that we render prices right next to the item. So this, for example, I know this is kind of hard to read, but like this helm says 30G. If it instead said 2 times this armor, I think it'd be a little confusing because you'd be like, okay, just what is that value? But I know what you mean. And I do think some games do this so that it's a little more obfuscated about how much does something cost. You run out of an item to sell, what does the customer do? I mean, customers just wouldn't do anything in that case, but it's unlikely you run out because to get more items, all you have to do is click the battle button again, and like you will win the first fight. So getting items, like we're gonna watch right here, some items popped out of the portal. We just click repeat battle, the archer goes right back in, they fight again, they're gonna win again, and then more items will pop out of the portal. So it's really quick to get more items. And if the customers are frustrated or don't have anything to buy, then it'll just cost you like an extra 20 seconds or something. Yeah, I think, Fu, what you're talking about, I think for a crafting system would be pretty interesting. Although I don't think I want to have a crafting system in the game, but if we did, I think saying it in terms of other items could be good. And that is generally how crafting systems work. This idea of calling out customers to a shop, there could be a bell or something. I think it'd need to be clear that you're doing this. I do kind of like it, but I'd like to find a way to not have to surface this. And it could be, excuse me, it could be that customers just hang out around the alchemist at first. Hmm. Yeah, what else? Let me show what I'm talking about here, by the way, we're gonna add a new navigation speed component. Where is this thing? Did I not call it nav? Oh, maybe it's nav speed. Yeah, nav speed. And what does this take in? Just an account. Okay, so imagine that we set this to like 40. Well, you don't have to imagine because I just set it to 40. Now let me show you what your imagination should have just told you. It was originally set to 100. So now when we launch the game, you'll see customers move very, very slowly. Let's grant an item and put a potion in the shop. Now they're going to pop out of here. This is the speed I want them to move at first. So you can already kind of see the problem here, which is you've got an item for sale. You can tell they're probably going to go buy it, but it's taking quite a long time for them to get there. And then they buy it, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to go wander around. So that when you put another potion in the shop, they have to walk all the way back. So that's what I'm talking about. At the beginning of the game, we need a way of them not taking super long. I could just make it so that they're very excitable at first. Yeah. I think this is pretty important. Their spending power being pretty high. Drag a couple items onto some table to combine them into something better. Combined item would just be the same spray with an outline. I don't think it's that crafting functionality would be hard to do. I think it's that crafting adds a bunch of complexity, and then there needs to be a whole other decision tree that we're considering. So yeah, the actual act of crafting doesn't have to be hard, but like, why are we doing it? What are the inputs? How do you know what the output's going to be? Do you track this somewhere? Is there a compendium? Why are you doing this? Like, what's the player thinking? How do we balance this for whatever it is you're doing? So we need to answer those things. Can the speed of the game be adjustable? I don't want to do that because that would affect every other aspect of the game too. So imagine if you double the speed of customers, you'd also be doubling the speed of battle. And given that the game is pretty much automated, probably everyone would just want to run it at max speed all the time. So I think I'd rather have it be that upgrades are adjusting those values. Make the customer wait at the spot for some time. Yeah, I think we'd need to do something like that. But then are they always doing that? Like, is there something special about the first customers? Because whatever we say here, you would want to know, why is this just not always happening? Like, are customers in the future just always hanging out around a particular shop and they're always able to buy things super fast? Is that even a problem, I wonder? Like, what is the point of the customer system? And yeah, those are the kinds of things I need to question a little bit more. Customers exist so that you don't just immediately get money from a battle. You have another thing to upgrade: customer speed, spending power, etc. The town is more realistic. Yeah, I kind of think, okay, here's my conclusion that I have. Maybe we rearrange the town even a little bit more to put the alchemist even closer to the start, so that when customers spawn at the beginning of the game, they walk across the bridge and now the alchemist shop is over here. So they don't have to walk very far. It's not like you're watching this forever. And then they don't wander around the rest of town until you've actually built up more shops. Make them move to the shop to check if there are items they want to buy. That could happen, but like I said, the problem I'm trying to figure out right now is how do you make it so the beginning of the game isn't like painfully slow? And yeah, we could move the alchemist even closer to the spawn point and then make it so that customers don't wander beyond the alchemist at first. Yeah. I think we need to do something like that. So give them enough spending power and make them get to the alchemist faster and stay there or stay around there. Like moving the beginning things to the left, greater sense of progression in the town as you build out to the right. Yeah. Yeah. When I put it all in the middle and have the rest of the plots around it. So I wanted the customers to enter as though it was kind of a real town. Like they just appear from the side, as opposed to how this portal works. Like the portal is a special way to get to it. So like watch, the rogue goes into the portal and that's how it enters a battle. I didn't want customers to come out of a portal because I think it'd be a little weird. So yeah, if customers come from the side, then it doesn't make sense for them to walk like all the way over here. Yeah, I think we just move this farther to the side. Could they enter from the top? We could have different entrances. Yeah, actually, I guess that is something that maybe we could make a little bit easier. Maybe we sort of truncate the map and then there's an entrance. Well, if we kept the alchemist over here, there could be an entrance like right here. Alternatively, we could move the spawn point so that it's closer to the alchemist. Setting ticket admission prices in Zoo Tycoon. I don't think I played Zoo Tycoon, although I played a lot of Tycoon games. I'm trying to see if I have played this. No, I haven't played this. But I definitely played Roller Coaster Tycoon. And what was that one? Dino Park Tycoon? Yeah. Dino Park Tycoon. What a game. So for now, it should be enough to swap the Armor Smith and the Alchemist. I think I'd want to do a little bit more than that. Like we have a bunch of blank space here as far as the town is concerned. And I think if we put the alchemist such that the customers only had to walk across the bridge and they were already able to buy, I think that could be good. But I guess let's see how it feels. Yeah. Would it be too awful if you had different colored portals? It wouldn't be that bad. I just didn't want everything to follow this portal system. This was a way of us having you go into a battle and not have to explain like, oh, you're actually walking off into the forest or you're going into a cave or we've got like icy terrain over here, even though biomes shouldn't be that close to each other. So the portal was a way of like, you can go to any region in the world through this. And the reason why customers can't use it is just never explained. So we could add customer portals. I think if we were to do that, I'd want it to be an upgrade that you get and that you understand that you're getting. So imagine if there's a button you click and it's like add the green customer portal and the portal goes like right in front of your shop somewhere. And you're like, oh, okay, I built that, so I get it now. I just want to be careful at the beginning of the game how much of that stuff we have. But yeah, unlocking different entrances to the town, that could definitely be done. Make different entrances to the town or portals for even quicker customer travel. Sell access to the portal. The portal just, you go into it with money in your pockets and you leave without the money in your pockets. It just doesn't teleport your money. So it just falls on the ground. All right, so yeah, I like this. Just move it closer to spawn, make it so they don't wander. Oh yeah, and then also at the beginning of the game, make it so that customers only wander to/around the alchemist? Could customers move slower the more stuff they buy? They could, but all that system is kind of doing is like decreasing the throughput of your town. And I think since we have a movement speed as an upgrade, I think we should probably just leave it at that. What else? I don't think I understand this. Oh, toll as in TOLL. Okay, got you. Yeah. I was wondering what toll was. Have we answered every question? Probably not. What I need to do, makes you dragons and customers. Okay. Yeah, poor toll. There we go. Make them manually promote items to NPCs. Then we have enough fame, they can set up shops to sell. I don't want to add too many new systems. Generally, the way I look at game design is that every single thing you add to a game is going to add some complexity, and that complexity needs to be worth it. So if we were to add in a crafting system, for example, that's complexity, and maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but it's like, can we justify that cost? If we were to add like you can click a customer and open up a skill tree for them, I mean, it could be cool. You could certainly envision a game doing that, but now you need to know you can click these things, and you need to know like, okay, how am I putting points into a customer? So yeah, if we were to have things like, okay, you're promoting items to NPCs, you're advertising, like how do we explain that to the player? How are they doing this action? And then why are they doing this action? So I want to try to keep things simple if I can. So this question, should customers be persistent? Something that's kind of interesting is your town hall could have upgrades for specific adventure or for specific customers. You could say like Bob the Dragon Slayer gets plus 100 gold whenever they visit town. I don't think that's interesting though. I think just improving customer speed or the amount of customers, I think that's probably worthwhile. I feel like if there are going to be persistent customers, that it's just a cosmetic thing and that it shouldn't really have an impact on the game. Is there any reason to do it? I think this is just cosmetic. I don't see why we couldn't do it. Actually, how many customer graphics do we have? Game, assets, characters. 1 to 8, 9 to 16. So we have 24. Although some of these look a little bit not really fitting for the game. Like all of these look like they could fit in the game. But I remember there being some kind of weird ones. Yeah, all of these are fine too. I'm pretty sure there were weird ones. It must be in this last character sheet. Well, were there elves and stuff? I could have sworn Santa was a customer somewhere. Maybe I just didn't add those in here because they were weird. Let me see if I can find that really fast. Farming, overworld, marketplace. This is just the marketplace though. Huh. I don't. Oh, maybe we just didn't include. Yeah, here they are. Yeah, these characters. There are what, 6 elves and 2 Santas? Like, I guess the elves could maybe fit. But really, all the elves look exactly the same other than the color. They're all the same sprite. Hard code customers? What do you mean? The question here of should they persist? Oh, I guess what you're saying is like combine the name and the sprite and their and whatever stats they might have. I don't know if that's really necessary. It might be fine. I don't think it would really make too much of a difference. How many monitors do I have? I used 2. I got a new monitor, but it's still in the box on the floor. But I only plan on using 2 even when I open that new one. Is this Skeleseller 4 swords? Yeah, connect your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube. And then you can play as the blue elf. Yeah, okay. I think we should probably do this. Yeah. Plus, this is probably how we're going to represent it in the game itself. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to put the rationale down here. Customers should be persistent. Rationale is Um, it may give you a sense of continuity. We can use unique sprites for each customer. We can name the customers. Well, we could have named them anyway, so I guess that doesn't really matter. We can track their cooldowns if we want to do things that way. Maybe that's how we frame their likelihood to enter town. Maybe it's how quickly they can earn money outside. Yeah, their recharge time, how quickly they earn money when outside of town. Saw skill talk. Depending on the day of the week, customers are slightly more likely to buy a specific item category. I think an Easter egg has to be noticeable. And I think anything with slight in it would not be as noticeable. I think what you could do, like here's an interesting Easter egg. On December 25th, you spawn the Santa characters as customers. Like that'd be cool, although people might never see that. But yeah, rare customers. Okay. Elves steal your items. We need to give these to the kids. They need their Dragon Slayer swords. All right, so what's the full customer state machine? Yeah, we got to come up with this. Have extension benefits in the future. Holiday customers, customer upgrades over time. Yeah, yeah. I think we might as well do it. I feel like there's almost no cost to doing it. I guess we have to save customers, but other than that, there's no real cost. But even then, we technically don't really have to. All right, so yeah, what's the full customer state machine? This is the last big question I had. And then I guess just look over the system and see if we're happy with it. And are we happy with all of the conclusions? Okay, customer state machine. Let's go figure that out. All right. So I feel like customers should hang on a second. Let's say your max is 2 customers. Should that mean that should mean how many you can have in town at any given time? So every customer could technically exist in the background and they just don't enter town until the town says that they can. So I guess the town will determine when a customer can enter based on some spawn logic. I don't even know what this logic is. Maybe, oh, actually, you know what? On the idea of persistent customers, maybe you don't have a max number that are in town at any time. You just have a maximum number that exist, and the amount in town are the ones that still have money left. Is that interesting? It's kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting. Spawn like 50 customers outside of town and pick the random ones that will enter. That's what I was thinking, at least. It could be interesting to just have X customers and not X max customers. And they enter and leave town according to the money they have and their whims, I guess. Day night cycles. I I don't necessarily mind having a day night cycle, but I think it's the kind of thing I'd want to add like way later in the game, like after it's launched. Yeah. Dangerously looking like an orchestration system. Not for picking items though, at least. But how would this work? I think this could be problematic. So let's say you start with two customers. They both enter town. They have 75G each. Items cost like 1 to 3 gold at the beginning. And yeah, I guess the problem is once they've spent all their money, they're going to leave and then take forever to come back. Unless we make their 75 gold recharge pretty quickly. Yeah, it could be that they recharge gold at like 25 gold per, well, let's frame it in per second. Maybe they recharge like 5 gold per second. So it take 15 seconds and then they come back. Customers recharge 5 gold per second when outside of town. Yeah, something like that could work. To recharge at different rates. I think there can be slight variations, but I don't think they should be. Actually, I don't even know if there should be slight variations. Maybe just for movement speed. Did I write that down? Customers should have. Yeah, this is the rationale, but I guess let's split it like this. Rationale here and the tasks here, or the what this means. Each customer has a dedicated sprite. Each customer can have a name randomized at creation. Each customer can have slightly different stats, movement speed, recharge rate, etc. Maybe you start with 5, but 3 start with no money, so it'll look like some leave and others come in some sort of cycle. Yeah, that could be done. Where did I write that thing? Oh, it's up here. I should just move all this down to the bottom. Maybe you start with 3 to 4, but 2 have no money. Aerosmith. So what would this mean toward the end of the game? I guess you want a healthy amount of customers wandering around your town. So how many unique sprites do we have now? Not that the number of sprites should dictate how many customers we have, but we have 8, 12, or 8, 16, 24. And if we count the elves, then we have 30. But we're using one of these for the NPC, so we really have 29. Are these just different colorations of the same character? I think so. Although that's fine. It's less obvious than the elves. Yeah. So we have like 29 customer graphics. That would be enough to have like 15 customers in town at any time and then still allow for like 5 rare customers. By commissioning the art, if you check out the credits, it's kind of the explanation of everything. We started with an asset pack, super retro world, and then Quickie Joe is making the other artwork that we have. So for example, this sprite that looks like me, this was something Quickie Joe drew. Do they look okay if we modulate them slightly? I think for sprite work, I would just make new sprites and just change them in Photoshop or GIMP or something like that. So possibly what we could do, and this might look really bad, I'm just going to try this really fast here, but if we change the hue, yeah, so their skin color is changing to like a sickly green. We can't do that, but yeah, something like this. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a reasonable character. And who knows, maybe the sickly green character is an undead knight or something like that. I just, yeah. The hyper character that just has like their colors are just constantly changing like this. Super rare. Why only humans in this world? Not only humans in this world, it's just the sort of green skin tone made them look like sick humans. I think if they look like they're they're not sick. Because the thing I don't want to communicate is that there's something you need to like fix about a character. There is sickness in other games, and that's probably how you'd represent it, is with like a human looking character who's got sort of pale green skin. So yeah, I'm not opposed to having different races or skin colors or hair colors or anything like that. I just want to make it clear that it's not like a zombie who's walking through your town. Unless maybe the zombies buy items, who knows? The shiny Adam, different colored glasses. All right, anything else about this as far as how towns spawn the characters? Yeah, I guess there could be an issue where your recharge rate isn't commensurate with your maximum amount of money. So the customers are just like stuck outside of town for too long. It's not clear why that's happening. Oh, I guess they don't need to recharge to full to be able to re-enter the town. They just need to have enough to be able to afford something. Do you set customers programmatically or when you say pragmatically? I assume you mean programmatically, but the pragmatism behind customers is just they need to be able to buy stuff. But as far as setting them up in code, right now the way that it's done is the town has some logic for spawning a customer, and it's literally just make a new customer, and the customer itself has a graphic that's set, I believe, yeah, here. Yeah. So it's just a random sprite index and it just picks one. We're gonna need to change that in a bit. Day and night would help with recharge. Like I said, I don't want to do day and night. I think as a starting idea for the game, it would sort of imply that there's something else that day and night is changing and not necessarily just customers. And I don't even, like, maybe if I fully thought it through, I might feel a little bit differently, but I'm not sure. I guess indicating the passage of time could be interesting. Excuse me. All right. To both enter town. Gold items cost that much. They recharge some out when they're outside of town. And their movement speed is like 35 to 45. Okay, so customer state machine is this. It's going to be that when they have max money, I guess there's like outside of town. When at max money, enter town. When not at max money, recharge money. Yeah. Then there's going to be an enter town. I guess there's got to be like a wander. Wander aimlessly. Just wander around the town. Maybe stop occasionally. At various points, yeah. Okay, so how do they leave the wander state? They need to either see an item that they want, or they need to, I guess, start craving an item. How do customers crave a specific item? How do they... Yeah, I'm not sure. Also cement the idea that you're a skeleton, have no need for sleep. I like the idea that you get visited by a necromancer and he keeps asking who your master is. You can't just be a free skeleton. You must have a lich or a necromancer or something. Does it need to be its own state? It might not have to be. It might just be the wander state. But actually, I think it probably should be its own state. Idle. Just stop moving. Maybe we could have different idle states where they're thinking about, I don't know, coffee or something. Random chance to enter idle upon reaching. Yeah, random chance to enter idle. Random chance to enter wander aimlessly. Yeah, they think about coffee. A picture of a taco shows up. So where's that thing I wrote about items? Here. They might want a specific item. They might want a category of item. They might want any item, and they might just want a window shop. I feel like the longer a customer is wandering around town, the more it's going to feel like they're just kind of doing nothing. So they do need to transition into this state reasonably soon, and maybe they do it when they're in view of a shop. No random chance to enter idle. When random chance to enter a to call consider buying. This chance increases if they're within view of an item. Doesn't really make sense though, right? If they're at the alchemist and there's a bunch of potions for sale, their chance to buy would increase, but I guess it'd be chance to buy a potion would increase. But then because they're at the alchemist, they'd keep re-entering that loop of like they keep wanting potions. So maybe after buying the same of some item a bunch of times, they want to go to a different shop. I like this. Tries to attract by a customer close by. Yeah, it could be that that's what happens. I think it's just the characters themselves would probably just enter a buying state. Okay, so consider buying is going to be somewhat challenging. We should probably track the last few items that a customer bought when they want to buy something. We should make it less likely that they want to buy those past items. Minimum time and distance before being able to go into buying. Yeah, in my mind, that's going to be like a small if statement we add. But I do think that's good to think of. It's just a lot of this won't be super apparent until we've tried this out. But random chance to call, consider buying. Maybe there's a minimum time. Maybe this chance increases over time. Yeah. Probably track the last few. Okay, so like I said, there were 4 categories of thing. It was these. Behaviors can change after some time. It's taken. Okay, yeah. What happens if they want a specific item and you never get that item? How do they change out of that state? This is also why it's important that we eventually have many different kinds of customers in town. Not kinds, just many different customers. So if you have like 15 customers and 3 of them want specific things and you just never find that specific thing because you're not even paying attention to the game, that's okay. They're 12 other customers. But if 10 of them want specific things and you're not paying attention, then it's like, well, now your throughput went way down. Last item or item category? Probably category. Yeah. They want to buy items from recent categories. Okay, so rare chance to want a specific item. It doesn't have to be an item that you currently have, but it should probably be an item that you could get based on the unlocked instances. Yeah, so rare chance, what might this be? Maybe like 10%, and maybe they want to pay more for it. Yeah, if they have a specific item that they desire, they should pay more for that item. Okay, then medium chance, maybe like a 60% to want, no, not even that much, maybe like a 30% chance to want a category of item, e.g. only potions. Just like with specific items, this should only be for categories that you've unlocked. And then large chance, 60%, to want any item. What's the point of this? Like a customer enters town and wants just weapons. I guess the idea is that they go to where the weapons are. I don't know. Players just decline their specific item request if the item prices are just not worth the effort to get. Yeah, you could just not do it. So let's say, and actually I guess that's another consideration. The very first location in the game, if I start a battle there and then win this, that item that they just earned is only worth 3 gold. So if a customer wants this and it's not the beginning of the game, then you could just opt to not get it. Oh, I guess you are sort of unlocking your customer behavior. So maybe they only want something worth 3 gold, but afterward they might want something that's worth even more. Also, even if it's 3 gold, they'll pay more for it. Maybe they pay double for it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this either. They want a specific category of item. Are they paying more for this? Is there a reason for this? I don't know if I want this to be in the game at all. Yeah, I don't think I want this to be in the game. I think we just skip right to this. Large chance to want any item. I just don't see what wanting a specific category would do. I also don't know how we would represent that. We need to show a thought bubble with like 3 potions in it or something. Class of customer who wants to get a category of item. But like, what's the game design purpose for that? You could say realism. That I would accept. Yeah, sometimes you just want to go buy food from a grocery store and you don't care what food you get. That's realistic. But does it accomplish anything? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I want to do this. Yeah, it's a large chance to want any item. But that's consider buying. So they could just be wandering and then halfway across the map there's a sword that you have. So I guess they have it in their mind that they want that item and then they walk to it. They wouldn't know it even exists. Maybe wander aimlessly is just pick random directions, but maybe there's like a wander to shop. Maybe that's what this is, window shop. Yeah, that's probably what that is. So maybe it's rare chance to want a specific item, then large chance, like 60% to want any item, and a medium chance, 30% to wander to a specific shop, still with nothing in mind. Okay, to enter window shop. All right, so window shop. This is just wander aimlessly, but with an aim. They'll go to a specific shop that you've unlocked. And then because, yeah, random chance to call this, maybe there's a minimum time, maybe we increase, maybe it increases if they're within view of an item. Yeah, so high chance after reaching the shop to want any item, want to buy any item. Yeah. So what happens when they want an item? They need to transition to some other state. I guess it's like try to find item. Maybe it's still wander aimlessly. I'm not totally sure. Because all this is doing, they're wandering around until they figure out that they want an item. Then they want an item. Now they've got to eventually go get the item. They might not even know where that item is. If it is that they wanted a specific sword and you have that sword, do they just immediately know that it exists and go fetch it? I guess that's reasonable enough to do. Maybe the townspeople all talk to each other. And they say that there's a sword in stock that they want. So yeah, what happens if they're wandering and they enter this one? They now want any item. I guess there should be a chance. Yeah. All right, here's what we're going to do. And maybe this doesn't sound good, but to want a specific item, enter seek specific item. So seek specific item is just, this is just wander aimlessly unless your town is selling the item they want, in which case they will go to the item. Yep, hey unknown. And then I guess there's got to be a buy item state at some point. Buy item. Once at the item, enter buy item. Are we adding tipping to the game today? No. Well, I guess actually maybe. This chance that they want a specific item, they'll pay more for it. So I guess it's like a tip. We got to probably render this differently. Think of how to render this to make it clear that you're getting extra money. Maybe plus 3G, plus 2G tip. Well, the billboards thing is going to probably be through the town hall. It'll be that you upgrade it and customers are just willing to pay more or something like that. Okay, so this is enter seek specific item. This is window shop, which is just to wander to a shop. Actually, maybe it shouldn't be called window shop then. Maybe window shop should be this. Enter window shop. And maybe this one should be called go to shop. Yeah. This is just wander aimlessly, but with a destination, a specific destination in mind. When reaching the destination, enter wander aimlessly. The thought process being that now you're within view of an item. Actually, maybe consider buying should have a way to not consider anything. Yeah. It's just consider. So medium chance, maybe this is like 25% chance to go to a shop. Maybe 20%. And then 60% and small chance to enter wander aimlessly again. Considering adding cafes or apartments? No, I think just a town hall at first, and that's going to be how you upgrade your customers. And then cafes and apartments could spring up as you upgrade your town hall, probably. The only other players are able to get rid of listed items? Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's pretty much what you already see in the game now. It's like when you win a battle, and I can show this here. So let's say we show stats. When you win a battle, all you see is an item here. You don't actually get money. So you have to sell that item in order to, let's force a win here. Yeah, so here we got 2 potions. You can see the rogue is carrying 1 and there's another one on the ground. So yeah, your money doesn't actually change until you go to sell it. So now when this customer gets here, we actually earn our 3 gold. Which is why coming up with how this system works is so important. Because right now, the way customers work is they all just immediately gun it for whatever item exists that they want to buy. And they have an infinite amount of money. That's not going to be true in the future. Maybe there's some random buildings on the map where customers can stay to recharge the gold. Could use some stuff from the sprite pack. I think it'll just be off screen. Because I think that once you have enough customers, you probably won't be paying super close attention. But the other problem is that if there were a building they could stay to recharge, they'd have to get to it just like they'd have to get off screen, and it would have to make sense how they're getting money inside that building. So yeah, I think just off screen makes more sense. What function does the town hall play? The town hall is how you'll upgrade your adventurers, or sorry, your customers. So customers, you can increase the number there are, you can increase their movement speed, how much money they can spend, etc. You go to work. Yeah, I guess so. Could progress from stuff bought from the player. Yeah, that was like the experience point system. But I think the issue with that is that uh, it'll feel like everything is gated by just beating bosses anyway, which is already gating a whole lot of progress. So I'd rather just make it that you're directly controlling their upgrades. Okay, so rare chance I want a specific item. This I don't like. I don't think this adds anything to the game. It may just make it so that customers have to wander even more before finding something to buy. The more weapons you sell, the higher the homicide rate is in town. They're not killing each other. They're killing enemies. Like bats and stuff. Yeah, bat murder rates are going to go up. But that's okay. The bats are evil. End of story. Want any item, enter window shop. This isn't even... This is this. And this one is what exactly? Window shop. This is like walk to a shop, but then once you get there, buy an item. Oh, God. I don't know. This is why I'm so glad I'm planning this out via text, because I don't even know what I want. Maybe they see the person buying the potion instead of them as an enemy. I do not follow, sorry. Walk to a shop. When you get there, when you arrive, I guess enter consider buying, but with a very high chance you want an item from that shop. No, this doesn't even work, right? This isn't just like walk to a shop. Maybe walk to the closest shop. When you arrive, enter buy item. I don't know. Said they use weapons on enemies. Still not following, sorry. Yeah, then we play the whole potion seller YouTube video tells in its entirety every single time. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit because I have not figured out what I want to do here. I want it to be that you eventually stock a potion in a shop and a customer can go over there. So let's just take a picture of this. So right now the customers are just at some random point. They're probably in wander aimlessly, which doesn't exist yet, but wander around the town, low chance to just idle, and then random chance to call consider buying. So they end up calling this consider buying. Now there's a rare chance they want a specific item, so they're not in that one. There's a small chance they just go back to wandering. They're not in that one. There's a medium chance to enter go to shop. That's just going to make them walk to a shop. But then there's got to be a chance they actually want to go buy something. Maybe we flip this around. Maybe there's a large chance that they go to a shop, and then once they're at the shop, that's what triggers them wanting to buy something. That could be good. Yeah, it could be better. So we make this an 80% chance to want any item. They'll go to a specific shop. When reaching the destination, enter consider buying. but there's no like actually buy an item. I guess we need to know that they're already in that. Yeah. Okay, so if they're at a shop already, maybe like a 90% chance to want an item from that shop. Go to buy item. If they're not at a shop, reduce the cost down of an entire shop so that all customers flock to it. Yeah, I like the idea of something like that. Some way of calling customers to a particular shop. Maybe it's a bell that you ring. Maybe it's a sale that you run. Would be a way to unload specific items. You make sure you don't abuse this by only farming an instance that drops mostly swords, for example. I probably won't do this, to be honest, but I think it's at least worth writing down. All right, so consider buying. At some point, we need to track the items you wanted. But if you do want a specific item, I guess you enter a specific state for this. This is wander aimlessly until you have the item, in which case they will go to the item. In which case they will enter buy item. Yeah, buy item. I guess we also show a thought bubble with the item that they want. Buy item is going to be walk to a specific item and buy it. After buying it, enter wander aimlessly. Now, should it do that? I guess if you're in the shop, I guess it should have a chance to enter consider buying. Random chance to enter wander aimlessly or consider buying. Hey, Maniki. Create some confused customers that keep changing the thing that they want. It goes out without buying anything. The doc I'm writing in is not public, no. Although I guess there's no problem making it public, so I'll do that really fast. Give me a sec. All right, there. I'll put this in the today doc. Doc with customer stuff. All right, that's probably unknown up there. The anonymous hamster. Oh, there is hamster gaming, and maybe they somehow got the hamster. Yeah, the thing we're working on right now is the customer state machine. I'm trying to figure out what's the totality of their different states they can enter and how do they get them. So they'll start in this state. They start in this state. So they're outside of town. This is very straightforward. When they have as much money as they can hold, they enter town. When they're not at as much money as they can hold, they'll recharge their money every second until they're at max. Is window shop scratched now? I think so. Right to buy item, high chance. Yeah, I think we get rid of this. An Ifrit. All right, wander around the town. Low random chance to enter idle. I don't know what that chance should even be. Random chance to call, consider buying. And I said this increases when they're within view of an item, but I don't think that's how that should work. If they're within view of an item, isn't that go to shop? To consider buying. If they're at a shop already, 90% chance to want an item from that shop. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah. If they're near a shop already. I apologize for insensitive comments. Good thing Ifrit Gaming 360 is not here. What's this? A hyena. All right, this is fine too. Consider buying if they're at a shop, 90% chance to want an item from that shop. Go to buy item, 10% chance to enter wander aimlessly. And if they're not at a shop, rare chance to want a specific item. Let's just write it as 10%. %80 chance to want any item. Does a rare character go straight to the shop or wander as well? Haven't figured out rare adventurers or rare customers yet. I guess we need to design that system too. How do rare customers work? They should probably be on separate spawn logic entirely. Would it help you draw a sketch? I know, I think this is working fine. I generally am not like a pen and paper kind of person when I do this stuff. Like I don't tend to work well when I'm doing visual stuff. Monopoly, man. Depends on how rare. One out of every million games, it could be like, that just doesn't exist in the code. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so if they're at a shop already, there's a chance to want an item from that shop. So basically, they're going to get to a shop somehow. So they're going to wander aimlessly. They're going to enter consider buying. If they're not at one, they're going to have a pretty high chance of going to one. Then once they're already there, there's a pretty high chance that they buy an item. Yeah. Walk to a specific item and buy it. After buying it, random chance enter, wander aimlessly, or consider buying. This should probably be based on the past items. Skew slightly more. Well, no, wander aimlessly wouldn't work that way, huh? Yeah, so this chance decreases rapidly if they've already bought a bunch of items from that shop. And I guess when you enter town, reset the last purchased items when you do this. That way you can want everything again. Yeah. So seek specific item. So if the specific item exists in your town, enter buy item. If it doesn't, show a thought bubble with the item that you want and then wander around. Yeah. Hey, Godik. It's just really complex Lisp, never sketches. Yeah, I've just never been the kind of person to sketch things out. It doesn't make sense to me. As in me personally, I get why other people do it. I just can't ever be like, okay, here's how I organize this stuff. Also, what we're doing here is not super complex. Like by the end of this, we'll probably have a total of maybe, I don't know, 7 to 10 states and some pretty basic transitions between them. I want to make sure I've covered everything though. All right, so let's kind of play out a couple of scenarios. All of them start here. So all the scenarios start here. Whether or not we have money doesn't matter because you'll eventually leave this the same way. So we leave and we enter this one, wander aimlessly. So we pop in at the left side of town and we're in wander aimlessly. So maybe we get a destination of here. So there's a low random chance that we enter idle. And I guess if we do that, we probably shouldn't forget our destination. Upon entering, remember the last destination we have so that we can set it again when leaving? Maybe not, actually. I don't know if I want to do that. This may not even be desirable. Pay for marketing campaign. And when they're out of money, they walk out of town. Yeah, I guess I didn't write that down. It's a good idea. If out of money, or if close enough to out of money. Actually, I never figured out how they leave no matter what, right? Maybe they need to buy something. If they haven't purchased anything and it's been like 3 minutes, leave town. And leave town is just going to be leave the town. Once out, enter outside of town. All right, if they haven't purchased anything in 3 minutes, this is just a failsafe. And if they've, for each purchase made, increase the chance of entering leave town. Maybe like plus 1% for each purchase. That's probably not a good idea, is it? No, it shouldn't be for each purchase made. It should be for how much money they have remaining, right? Maybe. Like, let's say you start with 75 gold. If you're down to 50 gold, there's like a 10% chance you leave town. If you're down to 25 gold, there's a 50% chance you leave town. And if you're down to 0 gold, there's a 100% chance. Yeah, so based on the remaining money, increase the chance of leaving town. So if at 100% money, 0% chance to leave, I guess we'll write it this way. If you're at greater than or equal to 50% money, maybe like a 10% chance to leave. 25% is maybe a 50% chance to leave. And I mean, these are all else's, right? Otherwise, if you're less than 25% chance, there's a 75% chance to leave, maybe even 90%. Or 80 or something like that. So now, can you enter this state properly? You go in to consider buying, walk to a specific item and buy it. If you don't have the money to afford it, I guess we didn't plan it out. What if you don't have the money? So they have to have the money. The item you can get based on the locked instances. Also, it should be something that the customer can afford. Otherwise, that would not work. Maybe easier for you. Yeah. But not to sound totally self-centered, but I'm the reason that this matters because I'm going to be the one coding this. If this were an open source project and I were delegating this to anyone in the audience, I'd probably try to make this more accessible. But I need it to make sense to me because I'm going to start coding this probably this afternoon. Do we want broke customers to be around? I don't think so. Because they have a money recharge stat and you would care a lot about that, I think. Actually, I wonder, does it make sense for a customer to ever like find money on the ground? And that way they sort of recharge while they're in town? I don't think so. I think that suggests that you have a lot of money just sitting around. All right, if they haven't purchased anything and it's been 3 minutes, leave town. This is a failsafe. Based on the remaining money, increase the chance of transitioning to leave town. Yeah, so if you're at max, actually we could say if you're like very, very close to max. Yeah. 1 in a million to find some money on the ground. The thing is, if something is incredibly rare, it might not be clear that it even happened. And for some things, I think it's okay. Like some FPSs have rare reload animations and you're like, did I just see what I thought I saw? I think that's okay. But if it's like, oh, I just got plus 10 ammo in my gun, you'd be like, well, how did that happen? Did I walk over an ammo pickup? And you might attribute it to something that didn't actually happen just because of how rare it is. Wander State should leave if money is 0 or maybe less than 5% if there's something they can afford. Well, the Wander State currently has that. There's an 80% chance to leave. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Make this 100% if they're at like no money or they can't afford anything. I guess what I was thinking is there are a couple ways of doing this. We could either have the Wander State figure it out, or they could enter consider buying, walk to a shop. No, that probably doesn't make sense. What do you do after buying an item? Enter wander aimlessly or consider buying. So there does need to be some check in here if they have enough money. Buy an item from that shop if they have enough money. 10% chance to wander aimlessly, or if they don't have enough money for any of the items. Ever find a coin on the ground? Same principle. Well, same principle, but you're in real life, if you find a coin on the ground, you're finding like 10 cents or 25 cents. In the game, if you found like 600 gold on the ground, I guess the question is, have you ever found a money bag on the ground? And the closest to that I've ever come is I used to work at a grocery store, and I found lottery tickets on the ground that people thought lost, but they didn't actually lose. But that wasn't a bag of money. That was like $1 or $5. All in all, in my time working there, I probably made like 20 bucks off of lotto tickets that people had just left on the ground. It was always funny to me too, because I always wonder, like, there's some category of people that probably see that they won $1 and they're just like, I don't care. And there's some category of people that don't even know that they won $1 because they didn't understand the rules of the game. What if there's a club man, a man with a club in town that bonks away all the people that are loitering? You know, unknown, I kind of wonder if I was like, you know what? You can come work on Scale Seller. Why don't you start making some PRs? Would these things just become realities, or are these very difficult things to implement and balance? Fun to add an NPC that steals money from customers, which increases the leave town unless player does something about it. Yeah, the only issue is that, because people have suggested this before, like what if there are raids or something? I don't know how you would do something about it. You'd need a way of entering a battle. Like, let's say this was an evil customer or something, and you're like, I need to banish them from my town. I guess you need a way of like clicking them to enter a battle, and then your character and this character would disappear, and you'd see them in a fight with that character. But again, think of what functionally is happening. You don't control battles. So in battling this character, I guess you would enter a battle and you'd always win it. Because like it wouldn't be very good if you were to ever lose that fight. And you couldn't know what level they are, what strategy to use against them. So that's another thing I think I'd save for like way post-launch if we ever did something like that. Random bag with hundreds of euros, which I find wild. I guess I have had that happen. Not a bag of euros, but I've found wallets before. And in those cases, I always return the wallet. And at the grocery store, it was like, well, just bring it to the front desk. And I guess I found a neighbor's wallet one time, and I brought it back to their house. But yeah, I guess if you found like an unmarked bag of money and you couldn't possibly know whose it was, I guess that would feel a little different. Some king rides through the town in his royal carriage, throwing money around the customers can then pick up. Yeah. So something like that, I think, would be a cool way of doing it, because then you'd be like, okay, I understand what's happening. Although I guess you'd want some of that money too. I think in the end, functionally, all it's doing is decreasing the cooldown time of customers that hopefully shouldn't matter too much. So I probably won't do something like that. We can get to this fun stuff quicker. I see. Yeah. They accuse you of stealing their money. No. Every time I've ever returned a wallet, they've always been like overjoyed. So, yeah. I think if someone accused me of stealing money from their wallet, that would be a very, very disappointing scenario. All right, I do want to make sure this is solid. So wander aimlessly. This only has a chance to leave, but you might not be able to afford anything. but there's always a random chance to enter consider buying, and it increases over time. And consider buying says if they're at a shop, there's a chance to buy or leave if you don't have enough money, which will then trigger this chance again. And if you're not at a shop, okay, so I guess that's a problem. You might not have a lot of money, and it might make you go to a shop. Actually, I don't think this is a problem now that I think about it. In fact, what we could do is we could have an upgrade where it's like when your customers don't have enough money, they just leave town. Maybe an upgrade for making customers leave town when they don't have enough money. Leave town immediately when they don't have enough money, rather than it just being a chance. I don't know if I like that. Rude, smelly, and asking for the manager. I've got a little bit more information in the today command. But yes. If you found it after someone else found it and tossed it? I guess so. And I guess there'd be no way of you knowing that. Like you find a wallet, it's empty. You go and bring it to the person whose wallet it is, and they're like, I had $100 in here. And you're like, no, you didn't. But they actually did, and there's no way for you to have known that. Never thought about that. But I guess in that case, it's probably reasonable for them to assume it's you. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, dilemma for sure. Okay, so this, for them to want any item, this is go to shop. When reaching, call consider buying. So they're at the shop, and now they're going to get this. Yeah, it's cool. This will work. But then wanting the rare item is only in the case that they can afford it, right? Yep. Okay, good. Go to shop is wander to a specific shop. When reaching, enter consider buying. Yes, that's good. Enter buy item. If you somehow don't have enough money, enter wander aimlessly. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, but I think this is looking good. Yeah. Oh, wait, this isn't needed. It's this one. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take a break, and then we're going to keep kind of working through this, and then probably take a lunch break and what was I going to say? Start working on the code in the afternoon. Is it jump time? It's jump time. I give an intro for this every once in a while, but for those who've never seen this in Twitch chat, not YouTube chat, you can type join and you can try jumping your way to the top and have fun. I'll be back in a little bit. everybody. Close the game. Okay. So how do they crave a specific item? We answered that. What happens if they want that and you never get it? How do they change out of that state? Oh yeah, did I ever? The specific item exists. Enter by item. If it doesn't show a thought bubble with the item you want, and then wander around. And if enough time passes in this state, enter leave town. So this is a specific decision, like I'm purposely making this, which is if one of your customers comes in and wants a blue potion and they don't get it, then they're just going to leave town. So it's not that they'll want a different item afterward. And enough time, I guess enough time would be maybe 3 minutes. And maybe we don't make it so that, no, actually, I guess even early on in the game, your customers could want specific items. Is that a problem? I don't think so. I guess both of them could end up wanting, let's say, like the 1 gold potion. And then you don't have any buying power because you're only fighting in the next instance and you're idling. I mean, the odds of that happening are low, but they're not impossible. There's a 1% chance. Also, if you're paying attention to the game, you can solve it very easily. You just go back to the first place and run a 3-second long battle and you're done. Like it's not 3 seconds, but still, anyway, you run this battle and there's your potion. Oh, but then I guess that customer has to buy it too. Indeed. Yeah, maybe there's a lower chance of that happening at the beginning of the game then. Or maybe it can't be all of your customers being in this state. Yeah. Note, maybe don't allow more than half of your customers to be in this state. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Do they leave permanently? No, they don't leave permanently. Maybe a very small chance to stop wanting that item. The only issue with that is, imagine this. You see that this customer is like, oh man, I really want a bow. And then you notice it after about 20 seconds because they're wandering around, so you might not actually see them. And when you finally see their thought bubble, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to go to the place that has bows. And you go and you find the thing and you click battle. Your characters are battling. And then they're like, you know what? Nah, I don't want that anymore. You're like, no, I went to this specific thing. Also, I guess if they're going to pay more, they need to pay a lot more. Tip should probably be pretty large if you went out of your way to get this item. Yeah. There may be room for an upgrade that gets a higher chance of wanting items you either have or from battles you're having. I don't think I'd want to do that because there's a small chance of you entering the state to begin with. And I think there will be other ways of us making sure you're getting more money. I think this is a way of rewarding active players. That's how I look at this. Like, you want a specific item, it's not something you're naturally getting, so go get that item and it'll give you quite a hefty sum. Actually, maybe the tip should be based on the most valuable item you've sold so far. E.g., a 1G potion can still be worth, say, 500 gold if the average item you're selling is worth 250 gold. Otherwise, it's not worth seeking out. But then if the item they want is already above the average, maybe we just multiply the value by 1.5, something like that. Going to be some indicators why customers made certain decisions, like speech bubbles with symbols. I think the only The only thing I was thinking is that there will be a thought bubble for when they want a specific item. But other than that, they'll just wander around. Occasionally they'll idle. Maybe there'll be a thought bubble in the idle one. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could have different idle states where they're thinking about coffee or something. Maybe they say some, maybe they have some text that they say. Yeah. Tipping in regular stores. Well, that was just a quick way of representing that they were really happy to have gotten this item. And I don't know how else we would do this exactly. Because, like, imagine that there's a sword that sells for 15 gold and a customer is willing to pay 400 gold for it. Like, what do you call that other than overpaying? I guess you call it a tip, right? I know it's just a joke. I'm still saying no. Like, how would you frame this in the world? It's commissioning. I guess it is kind of commissioning. Only you never agreed to the commission. You just coincidentally satisfied it. So increasing spending power makes them spend more money. Thus, they exit town faster. What if at some point the town ran out of people? So I think this is slightly wrong. Spending power in this case is just how much money the customer can have when they enter town. Not even can have, how much money the customer has when they enter town. So for example, you start the game and maybe it's 75 gold. You eventually upgrade it to 500 gold. And then as a result, they can spend more money. Not that they necessarily do, but they can. So they won't exit town faster. If you're still selling 3 gold potions, then you can sell a whole bunch of them before they finally leave. Maybe like 100 of them. And then finally the chance gets triggered and they leave town. Maybe you drain them down to 0. Who knows? But either way, when they do exit town, now their recharge rate is going to come into account. And the recharge rate might start at like 25 gold. Or no, sorry, I said it would start at 5 gold. So that would take, if they spent 100 gold, it means they'd take 20 seconds to recharge, and then they'd re-enter town. And you could increase the recharge rate, although 20 seconds is not like a terribly long time to wait, given that you have other customers as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on some of the balancing of this stuff. But in general, I like this system. I like how it functions. I think it's another thing to just kind of like watch playing out. So yeah. Customers should have a state machine. I guess this state machine. We'll just make a new thing out of this. There we go. New header. Building a game within a game. Not really. I think it's just a system within a game. There we go. Small heart above their head. For what? When they finally get the item? And yeah, bribery could be another way. Although I feel like bribing is nefarious. And this is just wanting a particular item. This is like the eBay of the game world. All right, what other questions do we have? Leaving, maybe the other one was taken. They spent a lot. They just hung out for too long. Yeah, cool. How do rare customers work? We know how customers spawn now. Or I didn't write the starting parameters really, but I should probably write that. Yeah, this stuff. Starting customer data. Allow for 2, maybe let's say 3 customers. Create 3 customers at first. One starts with full money and enters town immediately. Well, it's not even create 3 customers at first. Create 3 customers when you build your alchemist shop. Yeah. One starts with full money and enters town immediately. The other starts, one starts with half. One starts with none. And needs to recharge. One starts with no money and needs to recharge. All right, cool. They don't need that. Maybe the maximum Customers start with 75G. Rationale, this needs to be enough that you're not paying the price of them recharging immediately, which would probably be frustrating. And customers recharge at a rate of 5G per second when outside of town. Customers probably won't ever spend all of their money since there's just a chance for them to do that. There's actually a really, really low chance of them doing that, isn't there? What did I say this was? Yeah, so let's say they have 75 gold and they spend 3 of it. That is 4%. So they're guaranteed to spend at least 6. But then there's a tiny chance that they leave every time they re-enter this state. So yeah, that it's like practically a guarantee that they're not going to get lower than 50% of their money. And if they do, then it's even a bigger almost guarantee, not quite, I know how probability works, that they don't get below 25%. So basically all I'm saying is that their recharge time won't ever need to hit the full amount. So 5 gold per second, it would take a maximum of 15 seconds. But if they're only getting down to half their gold, then it's 7.5 seconds. But I think the bigger impact is not how long it takes for them to recharge their money. The bigger impact is that they have to walk all the way to the edge of town again. And with their starting movement speeds, that's going to be pretty slow. So we got to be a little bit careful. In fact, maybe we want to update these numbers a bit more. Maybe if at greater than 75%, there's like a 3% chance to leave. And we add in another tier here that says there's like a 5% chance. And then this could turn into a 15%. Yeah, something like that might be better. Are all prices going to stay the same, or will they change depending on demand? I think they're all going to stay the same. And I think the only demand part of things is going to be this bit. If they're at a shop, there's a really high chance they want an item, but that chance decreases if they bought a bunch of the same kind of item. So basically, if all you're finding is potions, then eventually your customers will sort of get tired of potions and just start wandering around again. To make the recharge percent based, richer customers don't take longer to recharge. I think I want it to be an upgrade that you just change their recharge time. So if you're like, oh man, none of my customers are in town, then you upgrade this. Also, at some point, like we're gonna have a cost for this, right? Let's say this costs 500 gold. Let's say you didn't even realize this is a thing. At some point, you'll realize, oh man, I've got like 50,000 gold, and this costs 500. I don't even know what it does, but I might as well buy it. So, yeah, I don't exactly know how I feel about having you upgrade this though, because I'm not sure it's gonna be clear. They only recharge their money when they're outside of town, and that means that they're outside of view, which means you have no way of knowing that that's what's happening. So yeah, maybe it only makes sense to ever have it be a percentage. And then we just say something like, yeah, I'm not sure how I want to do that. This may not make sense to do. Yeah, customers only recharge while outside of town, which means it's not visible to you. So it's hard to understand exactly what's happening. I mean, if a customer has 500 gold max, they'll take longer to recharge than one that has 100 gold. Oh, I see what you're saying. But the upgrade is supposed to sort of even that out. So like the starting max is going to be 75 gold, and the starting recharge rate is going to be 5 gold per second. So a max recharge of 15 seconds, but probably more realistically, it'll be like 8 to 12 seconds just because of how much they spent. Anyway, when you finally increase your max, let's say 500 gold, sure, then the maximum amount of time it could take would be 100 seconds. But probably the recharge rate you're going to upgrade to is going to be like 50 gold at that point or something like that. So it's like, oh, not only is your max time now 10 seconds, but your realistic time is lower. So as you upgrade this, your customers are actually staying outside of town for a shorter amount of time. Take care, hamster. Yeah, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for being around. All customers do it. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yes. All customers get upgraded at the same time. Note this upgrades all customers at once. Yeah. So their movement speed. I mean, the movement speeds will be slightly different, so this will be percentage based, but yeah. The reason I don't want you upgrading individual customers is I think it'll just feel tedious. It would add more of a money sink, but yeah, I don't think it would really do a lot. Yeah, all except for me. I'm gonna run around buying everything, which is the next thing we got to figure out is rare customers. So how do you get rare customers? It could be that they follow the same general state machine, but their stats are all way higher and they don't enter town when they're at the maximum amount of money. There could be like if this is a rare customer, there's a fleetingly small chance that they spawn. I think that makes sense. And then maybe also rare customers always just want any item. They don't want specific ones. Yeah, I think that could be good. Potentially can increase that percent by purchasing temporary flyers. Oh yeah, we could write that down, right? We can upgrade increased chance of getting rare customers that will buy anything or will buy everything maybe. Anything they see. Yeah. Note, rare customers have a different state machine entirely. Rare customers. APX, happy Friday to you too. All right, so rare customers have their spawns controlled by the town itself. Maybe every like 30 seconds, there's a 1% chance that they spawn. And this chance can increase by 1% each time they don't spawn. Anyway, something like that, right? Where you eventually get them and it's eventually a guarantee, but on average it takes whatever 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something. And then once in town, their states are to just immediately, their logic is immediately go to any buyable item and buy it. After buying X items, I guess just their chance to leave town increases as they buy items. Yeah, so we could say something like 75% chance after buying an item to want another item from the same shop. So there's a pretty good chance that they'll sort of chain buy things from that shop. After buying 5 items, they have a 10% chance to leave. After buying 10 items, they have a 20% chance, etc. And they move fast and have infinite money. Yeah. Hey, Craze. The collection of red names in chat. We've done it. We've gotten the Triforce. Today's going pretty well. All we've done is design so far, but we're going to start the coding this afternoon. I think we've almost answered everything. Make rare customers work like this. We either want totally different states or yeah. I'll just say that we probably want totally different states for rare customers so that we don't need a bunch of if statements in existing states. Any other questions? Are we happy with all the conclusions? Okay, let's look through the conclusions. You build a town hall to upgrade customers. Until you get it, you just have some default stats for customers. And I guess let's write the default stats. There'll be a skill tree at the town hall that costs money and doesn't allow respecializing. What you can upgrade. All right, these I'm not sold on everything here, but yeah, more customers makes sense. Movement speed makes sense. Buying power makes sense. Actually, because there could be a problem where, let's say a customer has 75 gold, you eventually start unlocking items that are worth more than 75. And then can you get into a case where you can't sell? I guess you could. Yeah, your shops are stocked. Wait, no, it's... No, it is possible. Yeah, it is possible. Okay, that's bad. But I think this needs to be solved with a different system entirely. I think there needs to be a way to like trash an item in a game. Yeah. Yeah, so like imagine this potion exists, but no one actually has 16 gold. Or rather, the max amount of money they can even hold is 15. There need to be a way of you getting rid of this item. And that doesn't exist in the game right now. I mean, there could just be like a trash can dragging item here to delete it. Although you'd only need it in cases where you're stuck. We could unstick you some other way. We could just spawn a customer that has more money. But could you exploit that? No, that's what rare customers do, right? Yeah, but rare customers are rare. They don't always spawn. Maybe it doesn't make sense to upgrade this. Maybe it just happens when you beat bosses. The problem with having to upgrade this is that you may get stuck. Maybe you're only selling items worth like 75 gold or 100 gold, I guess. But customers can only afford 75 gold and you don't have enough money to upgrade the spending power. Yeah, I don't really have a solution for this, I guess. Because the ways we could try to solve this, one is to make sure that it could just never happen. But I think that would be really hard. Two is that once it happens, the game automatically fixes it for you. Maybe by spawning a rare customer. But then it could happen again. And I don't want to keep like bailing you out with rare customers. And three is allowing you to trash items. I think we just need to do that somehow. Just allow you to get rid of an item. Like I said, the only thing this would ever be used for is this one case. So most players wouldn't understand why you could trash an item. I guess what we would do is we need to make it so that you can always dump your excess. Yeah, that's what we should do. We should make some sort of like quick sell NPC. So you have a bunch of items, but you just don't have the customers or they don't want those things and you need a way to get rid of your items fast. So you just quick sell those things. Yeah, I think we need to do that. I think this should be solved by a quick sell feature where you can sell any item immediately for like 20% of its value. Excuse me. How do we do that though? Like, where do we put that in the town or in the game? Get in this situation, we can also show a notification telling you what to do, similar to the money cap one. But the problem is the game can bail you out by having a rare customer spawn. So you might see the notification saying you need to delete an item, and we need to detect that you actually don't need to delete an item anymore. I kind of wonder, what if the game started you out and you had to manually sell your first item? Hey, Dank on YouTube. Yeah, I guess it could be a pawn shop, and maybe the pawn shop just opens itself up. Like, you don't even pay money for it. Just a pawn shop unlocks itself. Or maybe it costs 0. Yeah, I kind of like that idea of there being a pawn shop somewhere, and it's like, hey, drag any items here that you don't want. But I do want to pursue this for just a second longer, which is, what if you only started with the pawn shop? And the game had you build a proper shop. You can also trash items in the Enchanter's Den, given that there's a cooldown. But you need to have unlocked the Enchanter's Den. So I guess that's the other thing. As long as we make sure that the numbers align such that the only time you can start getting valuable items that customers can't afford is that you have the Enchanter's Den, then I guess we'd be fine. But actually, yeah, that's all we need to do. Could also solve this just by making sure you can unlock the Enchanter's Den before the game gets to this point. Because then you would at least be able to trash your potions, which would give you the ability to sell more potions. Via a pawn shop that costs 0G to open. I still sort of like the idea of a pawn shop, though. Like, I just need money now. And the whole shop could just be a bin, sort of like the I don't have the game open. Sort of like the quest bins that we have. There's just an NPC standing next to something like one of these. Although it should look like it's open, right? So this. Yeah. So they've got like a little chest there, and you drag an item onto it, and it's like, you got 3 gold. There could also be an upgrade for the pawn shop. Maybe there's a player-wide ability that says something like, selling things at the pawn shop gives you plus 30% gold. So it's still not worth it, but it's slightly more. I don't think people would unlock that. I think it would just have to be a paid upgrade at the pawn shop. For now, I don't want to worry about this, but I don't think there's a way to just ignore this. Yeah. Could be part of the town hall tree to get a pawn shop. Oh, or to, what did we just talk about? Increase the pawn shop amount? Yeah, it could be. Actually, even unlocking the town hall or the pawn shop could be there. I think just showing the sign after you beat the first boss could be good. It's a bit nonsensical and is opening a can of worms. I just care that people come shopping and buy the items. Yeah, that's the other way we could address this. Is their spending power scales with the items that you're finding anyway. I guess I hadn't really thought about that. Could just remove this upgrade completely. and make it so that customers always, so that customers can hold up to like 2x the max value of the items you're selling. Some that prefer one item over another so that your income isn't steady and varies. Well, I like the idea of there being a cap because the other thing we just decided was that they stay outside of town until they hit this cap. Although I guess we could reframe that too. It could be that they stay outside of town until 15 seconds have passed, and you can decrease that amount of time. Some states just burn one of those without actually purchasing. Yeah. Yeah, because I guess we have a couple upgrades here for how much money they can hold and then how much they recharge. And yeah, the recharging isn't super clear. And I guess we ran into a problem with this too. So I guess it is kind of steering me away from that. But the reason we came up with this in the first place was that I wanted the original customers, like the first ones that you get, I wanted them to buy all of your potions. Because you need there to be like very high throughput at the beginning of the game, but there needs to be some reason why it's high then and not high later. Also, I got to change the animation speed on customers. Change animation speed on customers to match their walk speed. When at 35 to 45 pixels per second, their frame rate should be lower. All right, so how do we want to change that? Their buying power and their recharge time. Let's go back to the scratch thing for a little bit longer. There are problems with buying power and recharge time. Buying power, it's possible that you didn't upgrade this and get to the point in the game where you can't afford the upgrade, but also can't sell any items. And then recharge time, this happens off screen and may not be clear what's going on. So the problem that buying power was solving was at the beginning of the game should have high enough throughput of sales so that you're not waiting around before you can affect customer stats. Where there was one other thing, I wrote some stars somewhere. Where were those here? Makes their spending power is high enough to accommodate the early game. Yeah. We could still have the concept of a maximum amount of money and it just goes up as you kill bosses. Actually, that's not bad, right? Yeah. Could still have the concept of buying power and recharge time and just hide them from the player entirely and have them go up as you beat bosses. Oh, what's the point of that? I guess there isn't a point. Just to make a customer leave town at some point. Could be idle states have a % chance to burn a purchase opportunity. Rare shoppers could have more, so a higher chance to buy more and get more gold. Still need to account for item prices and not lock them out. Yeah, but that would be very easy to figure out because we would know every location you could have because we know where the boss is. And then we can just figure out what's the highest item price. Oh, it's 543 gold. Okay, make the max purchasing power be 900 gold. So that would be easy to do. But I don't think it would really matter. The whole point of this system is just to make it so that they're buying more in the beginning of the game than they normally would. And yeah, like Thal said, we could just have a special state for, okay, it's the beginning of the game. They're buying a lot more than they should. I guess I do like the idea of showing how much money a customer has. Like you hover over them and it says, this is Bob the Dragon Slayer. And they have, 40 gold left. But then hovering over them is probably going to be hard when they're moving faster. It's like trying to hover over one of these. It's not going to be that easy. And you need to keep moving the mouse to be able to continually hover over them. Could just change it so that customers always have a chance to leave, and you can address that. Lowering it would mean they would naturally buy more. I still like the idea of there being a recharge time, and maybe it's just variable. Like customer leaves town based on number of purchases, roll a number, and then wait for that long before re-entering. So for example, maybe customer who bought one thing wait like 2 to 5 seconds, and a customer who bought 5 things wait 7 to 10 seconds, and then a customer who bought, let's say, like 500 things, it'd be wait some maximum amount of time, 20 seconds. So that can be done as far as the recharge time goes. And I think this is fine. I don't see a problem with this system because the player's not going to really see this or care about this too much. They're just going to be like, oh, sometimes there aren't customers. And maybe there's an upgrade you get that says like customers will enter your town more frequently, and it just lowers these by some percentage, but you still don't know how the system works. Especially when they're purchases that you unlock once, I don't think it would matter too much to you. But yeah, how do I control the number of purchases they do? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Make the first customers rare customers. Yeah, I was thinking there could be ways of us doing things that aren't true later in the game. Like the rare customer rate is higher at the beginning. I'm just not sure how I feel about that. Because then at some point you're gonna just get more customers. What do we say? You start with 2? You start with 3? I think you start with 3. What I said. Yeah, you start with 3 customers. Once you end up with, let's say, like 5, if you only have the alchemist, then that means probably all your items are going to get purchased pretty rapidly. I think it's going to still feel frustrating that you can't make customers move faster or do anything else. And I think that's where maybe just the pawn shop idea would help anyway. Like I have items and customers just aren't going here. Let's just sell it immediately. I'm saying separate from all this stuff. Maybe we should still add the pawn shop. Hmm. Longer and mean they naturally buy more. Yeah, maybe we just go this route. So yeah, customers always have a chance to leave, and after customers have left, they wait based on how long they purchased or how many things they purchased. And then I guess we just have a pawn shop. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think I like this. Otherwise, you'd feel like, okay, I can't do anything in the game. All right, so let's go reframe these things. Build a town hall to upgrade them. Create 3. Customers start with 75 gold. This is not a thing anymore, and this is not a thing. So then starting with full money is also not a thing. So I guess just create 2 customers. That's good. So buying power and recharge time. I guess these things can still sort of exist. Increase the odds that customers stay in town after making a purchase. And decrease the amount of time that customers are outside of town. Pawn shop. Yeah, I think we need to add that. Maybe it should be something like the scrapper. Yeah. Because I guess a pawn shop implies that someone else is buying from the pawn shop. And if you never see customers go in there. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess the scrapper's fine. I guess the scrapper doesn't really make sense how you're getting gold from it, though. How likely they are to stay in town. Okay, so we got that there. Anything else about recharge time? Different entrances to town, like that they want item. Which is rare item, rare customers. Recycling druid. I kind of like it. Oh man. Hmm. Okay. I do kind of like that idea. All right, add a what is functionally a pawn shop, I guess. Add what is functionally a pawn shop. The scrapper, the recycling druid that will always accept any item for X% of the value. Rationale is this lets you make money even when you don't have the selling throughput through customers alone. This makes it so that you can never get stuck in the game by having items that can't be sold for whatever reason. The new alchemist lets you get gold from trash. We could just call the alchemist potion seller. Also, I guess it doesn't make sense at all that any of the NPCs had the names that they do. Why is a blacksmith selling weapons? Like a car salesman in real life doesn't make cars. They just sell cars. So a blacksmith is someone who makes the actual weapons. I never thought about that until just now. We have a massive problem in the game. I don't know. Maybe we just say potion shop, armor shop, and weapon shop. Yeah, I think we should probably do that. Rename all of the shops based on what they sell, not based on the NPC's name. So blacksmith, weapon shop, armor smith, armor shop, alchemist, potion shop. Got better customers to sell his weapons to? Just service? It could be, but they never stock the shops themselves. Although I guess that could be a feature. Like every once in a while, your blacksmith just makes a weapon. Yeah. Alchemist is freed for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just going to put it as a question mark here, but the alchemist. Yeah. Note this should probably cost 0 gold. God, I just love the idea of recycling druids so much. Like, hello, I care about the environment. Instead of just dropping swords on the ground, have you ever thought of giving them to me? I will recycle them in an environmentally friendly way. I'll also cast heal spells on your adventurers. Okay, now we got to change all the state machines. So where'd that thing go? Yeah, this stuff. Okay, wait for some amount of time based on how many items were sold last time in town. 0, wait 0 seconds. Actually, not even 0 seconds. What am I talking about? Wait a minimum of 2 to 5 seconds. Wait a maximum of 20 seconds. If buying one thing, minimum time. If buying greater than, I don't know, 15 things, maximum time. Buying 2 to 15 things, somewhere in the middle. I don't need to exactly write how these things work. I think this is going to be clear enough. After waiting, enter town. Yep. Okay, so remaining money, increased chance of transitioning to leave town. This is not how this is going to work anymore, right? It's going to be every number of some number of purchases, and there's going to be some minimum number of purchases that you can do. Okay, so based on the number of purchases made during this trip to town, increase the chance of transitioning. So if less than 3 purchases, 0% chance to leave, maybe like 1% chance. Else if less than 5, should probably make this a less than or equal to, huh? Just make it a little bit clearer. So this would be 4 or 5, maybe go to a 5% chance. Less than 10. This is not money. 10% chance and dot dot dot, whatever. Yeah. Wander around town, blah blah blah. Make sure we know in time. Sounds good. All right, so consider buying if they have enough money. That's not a thing anymore. 90% chance to want an item from that shop, and it decreases if they bought a bunch of items from it. Doesn't need to be an item you currently have. Doesn't need to be something you can afford because you can afford everything. If they have a specific item they desire, they should pay more. Yep. This is another reason why the buying power wouldn't have made any sense. Couldn't spend more money than you have. Is there anything else mentioning recharge time or buying power? If you somehow don't have enough money, yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. Thank you for chiming in, chat, because, yeah, I think this would have been a mistake. I think it would have worked. I just still think it would have been a mistake. Customers should have infinite buying power and should leave town based on some other means. Rationale. It's just too hard to surface this in a way, in a satisfying way, I guess. Buying power would need to be controlled, well, balanced. It would need to be somewhat visible so that players understand it. And we would need to make sure that you are increasing it at regular intervals. Okay. I'll gift Thel's a point. That's fair. Yeah. Is there anything else we need to revamp there? I don't think so. So what should be the condition for being able to get the pawn shop? I feel like it should probably just, like, we're going to put the alchemist over here. Or no, sorry, we're going to call this the potion shop. We're going to put the potion shop over here. And then maybe like up here we can have the scrapper or the recycling druid. It would actually be kind of cool if they were just literally in the woods. I really like the recycling druid thing. If they're the recycling druid, then they should just be in the forest and have a pot slash bin next to them that you can drag items to. Fellas, I still really appreciate the dedication. Yeah, I think I'm aiming for this. Actually, let's do a quick poll. Let's see what chat thinks. How do I survey poll? There we go. All right, poll. What should we name the pawn shop? Pawn shop, recycling druid, scrapper, alchemist. All right, feel free to vote. Should be a good spread if we separate trinkets from armor category. Got to file a task for a new shop later. Yeah, I think having a fourth shop could be interesting. I don't really know if it functionally changes a lot. Also, Man Bear Pig. I don't think I saw that episode. I've heard of Man Bear Pig. So by the way, if Recycling Druid wins, RM Cubic gets a point. If it doesn't win, then too bad. We got like what 20 seconds left? I don't know what it is. Is there a way to see the amount of time in numbers? No? Huh. Okay. Well, anyway, it's like 5 seconds left. All right. Looks like we have a winner. Gift RM Cubic a point. Cool. All right. Thank you for voting, chat. We are going to call it the Recycling Druid. Sitting with my head on my desk, put my headset on after seeing I got gifted a point. You were gifted the point for the suggestion to get rid of the buying power stuff. Yeah. All right. I think we've got it all figured out. They move fast. I guess the infinite money everyone has, but yeah, they move fast. Well, faster than normal customers. Maybe their base speed is 100 and they still benefit from upgrades. There would have to be a maximum of like 300 move speed. I don't know if you'll run into problems if you do that. What does it even look like to have a move speed of 300? 300. Let's see how fast customers dart around when you do this. Their original speed was 100, so this is 3 times that. And the new speed is supposed to be, well, I mean, it's 40% of that, but thereabouts. So we create, let's just grant a bunch of things, grant items, drag this over here. Wow, that's fast. Yeah, imagine a rare customer darting around your entire town, just buying everything. We need a bunch more workers to support this. And then I guess we need the other shops. Look at all the sales. They just go running around. Wait till they make it to this shop. Yeah, cool. Sonic the Hedgehog. Basically upgraded workers. Upgraded workers get to 200 speed, I think. Yeah, they get to 200, so they don't even move as fast as customers do. But yeah, this looks more like anthill territory. But yeah, I think maximum of 300 probably sounds reasonable. I'm just curious if we set this to 600, do they even function still? Because there's got to be a speed where they, unless I coded it correctly, there's got to be a speed where they just stop hitting their targets. And maybe I did code it correctly. Create there. They're blurs. Now if we increase the game speed to 8x, they just fly around buying everything. You can hardly see them. They're in like 10 places at once. True end game. Yeah. All right. What was I going to write about this? Something important. Oh, yeah, I remember what it was. Need to make it so that grant most things unlocks the shops. It should mark that you killed all of the bosses. Please tell me we're almost done with this because I've been spending a lot of time and I would like to be finished. 100, one's in town, go to viable item. Chance to leave town increases as they buy items. I guess this could work pretty much the same way the regular townsfolk do this. Just our regular customers. Regular customers with maybe a slightly higher threshold or minimum. Oh my god, I can't type. E.g., maybe rare customers always buy at least 5 items. Okay, well, wait. If all customers have an infinite money pool, maybe rare customers should pay more? I'm going to write it down as an idea. Rare customers pay more for each item. They tip even though they're not looking for a specific item. The other way of framing this would be that they always want specific items and it's always items that you have. So that when they tip, it makes sense why they're tipping. But I don't like that because, well, I don't even know if I like this. No, I don't want to do this. I take that back. Because one of the problems is rare customers might show up once per minute if you get lucky. And in that case, you'd be progressing through the game so fast that I don't think it'd be as good. I think you should still be limited by how many items you have in your town. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with everything. All we need to do now is turn this into tasks and then do the tasks. And I think that'll be a task for this afternoon. Let's delete this stuff. So conclusion so far, all of this needs to be bundled into tasks. Maybe we should put that in the game design thing too. Customer. This idea is already done. Yeah. Customers, well, customer stuff, customers leave sooner. More customers, customers move faster. Yeah, delete all that. Critical sales. Oh yeah, critical sales would be cool. That could be in the town hall. Customers, NPC customers. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. No customers. All right, well, I don't have it written down anymore. So we're going to write this here. Customers. Done. Cool. Cool. All right, so doc with customer stuff. So convert conclusions into tasks and then tackle the tasks. Honestly, even the converting conclusions part is going to take probably at least half an hour. I'll actually do this first. and make a new branch for that. Oh, I didn't look at the PRs that exist. I got to do that at some point. Well, that's going to have to wait. Yeehaw. Closing tabs. And we don't have any outstanding code other than the one speed change that I made. Yep. Whew. Wow. Well, what a morning. Honestly, I still think of this as being very productive, even though there was no code written. Designed how customers should work, then started working on them. That's an optimistic journal entry. We'll do that when I get back from lunch. It's 12:18 right now. So I'm gonna get food. I'll be back in about an hour, and then I'll stream for maybe 3 hours. How long has it been? 3.5? Yeah, I'll probably stream for about 3 hours. Got a lot of code changes we got to make. All right, well, thank you all for watching. If you have not already, please do consider wishlisting this game on Steam. It costs you nothing. It probably does some stuff for me. Either way, it just makes me feel good. See the number go up. So I'll be back in about an hour, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. If I don't see you again, have a good weekend. But yeah, see you soon.